What's going on, guys? It's Nathan. Welcome to episode number 8 of My Cup of Tea, where it is a bombastic Fandome DC special, because we just got a whole lot of info, even from the smaller panels. They just have like little tidbits, a lot to come out, but then also a mass amount of stuff and footage to discuss, and it's just going to be a great time to talk all things DC, with hints of normal movie sense as well. So joining us as always, we have Carson.
I thought you were going to change your background to the Batcave there for a second. I was waiting for the reveal.
I could do it.
Let's make it happen, because I am so excited to talk about the Batman. That was the mic drop for me from DC Fandome. And honestly, it was such a cool event. I'm just excited to talk about it in general because the metrics came out today that they had 22 million all-time viewers on it, and people wanted to become a normal thing, and I would not be surprised. Because I thought it was, pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm excited to break down all this stuff.
And also joining us, we have Evan.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. It's funny because we went over 2 hours last time, and that was just for predictions and everything. So I wonder how long we're gonna go in for this time, breaking down everything from DC Fandome. Yeah, I had a blast too. There was a lot of stuff that I was surprised about, some things I expected, but overall, like Carson said, I think the whole panel as a whole was a huge success. So I can't wait to break everything down.
Yeah, absolutely. One sec, I started doing something on my computer. Yeah, one sec. Evan, say something else.
Cool. So you want me to start? We can start.
Yeah, man. All right, no, I think I got it now.
Do you guys want to start from the beginning?
Yeah, what was the first? I guess Wonder Woman, right?
Well, first off, before we do dive into the stuff, we're gonna just real quick touch on our return to the movie theaters.
Oh yes.
Oh, your guys' return to the movie theater.
So that was a trip. So I will pass it over to Carson while I continue doing this.
Yes, okay. My cat is trying to eat my food. Anyways, I went to go see the Train to Busan. I guess it's not a direct sequel. It's more of just hey, we're set in the same universe 4 years later type of thing. The Train to Busan sequel in IMAX, and it was kind of nice to go back for a foreign film because there wasn't too many people in the theater, so I wasn't stressed about seating. The nearest person was rows away from me, so that was good. And yeah, I walked right in. The actual employee scanning in your tickets is behind this giant plexiglass little box. It's very reminiscent of the movie theater of the glory days that you see in movies of, they're literally just boxed in, and it's kind of its own little box office thing now, which is kind of funny. But yeah, overall I felt pretty safe. It'll be interesting to see if my opinion changes when I go to see Tenet on Monday, because I have a feeling the next week is going to be a little more busy than the initial opening weekend. So it will be interesting to see those changes, because just with more people, there's just more probability of stuff getting messed up, or people being individual dumbasses, and you never know.
Yeah.
So that's where, for me, my biggest takeaway, other than I will talk about the movie itself a little bit, but is kind of just pick and choose. Honestly, it's worth it to go into the premium format where you have more space with some of those bigger IMAX or Dolby theaters that have just more seats per auditorium versus just standard recliners, or I know at one of my AMCs it's a dine-in technically, so the dine-in auditoriums have the least amount of seats because it's that you actually have a little table space in front of you, and so it's very kind of cramped in there. But I would just recommend just getting your seats in IMAX a week before, if you're planning on going, and just checking on a daily basis. That's the best way to do it, is just keep checking. And if you just feel uncomfortable, either just refund your ticket and move, or just choose a different screening, which I kind of like the flexibility of all of that. It makes me so grateful for, honestly, just being able to. It just reminds me of the time before 2015, where I just didn't buy reserved tickets. It just seemed crazy. Didn't used to do it this way. But yeah, the movie itself was really. So Nathan hasn't seen Train to Busan, so I can't.
Don't say a word.
I can't say.
Wait, I haven't seen either. Or
I,
no, he's seen.
I've seen the first one.
No, not he
Okay,
hasn't seen Peninsula. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one, it's definitely more action oriented. It's still got like a good like emotional through line like the first one. I would say not as like it's not as strong of like I don't know. It's satisfying, but it's like satisfying in a different way. There's kind of some wonky like CGI sequences, but other than that, it's just fun, man. Like I wrote in my review that like in the first movie, every zombie feels like very consequential. Like every zombie is a tipping point. It's like holy shit, like
because it's in a tight space.
Adds to the tension. You're in a tight space. This is very much like they had to like go back to like the island that basically the setup is that there's some refugees that the people that like escaped the zone had like no countries wanted them because there was instances of like isolated zombies that got on some of the survivor ships and stuff. So everyone's like, no, you're not coming to our country for whatever. So they basically had to retreat to a quarantine zone on the peninsula of Korea, I believe. And that's where it was a safe zone. And so that's just kind of the setup, which I really like that kind of mentality because everyone, the main thing that's cool about this movie is even the people that are survivors that are still on the peninsula that never ever escaped and are still alive, they see the refugee people or the people coming from Hong Kong after this event back to Korea as like outsiders. And it's kind of fascinating that how this whole event like shifted things. But it's a very action-y movie. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, right?
Yeah, the first one.
There's this really gorgeous set piece where it's kind of this fighting arena.
I saw that. Yeah,
where there's like water on. It is so cool. Really gorgeously shot. It's a pretty well made movie. I had a great time.
How would you compare it to a movie like World War Z? Because that's kind of feeling I got from the trailer.
Yeah, kind of similar, although I would say the climax of World War Z is very different and individual to like singular character. There's a lot more moving pieces in this movie just because of the different groups that are set up. It's not like just, one zombie and Brad Pitt sitting there trying to get through to the medicine cabinet or whatever. There's big car chases, big hordes of zombies coming out of nowhere, and so yeah, expect more of a big bombastic movie, but overall it's kind of just fun to go back to the movies and watch just the crazy zombie. And all the performances are really good. There's a couple of child actors in this movie that have a kind of substantial parts to the movie and some kind of cool character moments, and they're actually really great. Man, so yeah, I would recommend this. I'm
super excited to see this movie. But you're so lucky.
But fun fact, so I forgot that this movie, I guess, or at least partially, the rights to it got for the United States or North America got bought out by Shudder, which is like the horror streaming service. So I think after this theater run, it's going to go to Shudder in about a month or so or something.
Oh wow!
So it may be coming to VOD faster than we think. I'm not sure the exact timeline on that, but the Shudder logo is before the movie. I was like, wait, why is the Shudder logo before? But I think they got the partial rights to it, which is interesting.
Huh. Awesome.
And Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, I can't add to that. I also went to the theater, so that was fun. Second time around, because I had already gushed about my whole re-experience following back to the theater on Hyperspace Hype last week about Empire Strikes Back. But this following week, we're discussing. I went to go see Inception in progress before Tenet releases. It was the 10-year anniversary of Inception, which is cool because I didn't get to go see it back when it came out because I probably didn't even know what Inception was back in 2010. if I'm being honest.
Wow.
It's no shade against Nolan. I love Nolan. I was young.
I'm just shading your movie habits.
No, I was naive. All I knew was Batman, which is fitting for this. But
Jesus.
I was 22. I was like, what, in my teens? Come on. Anywho, went back and it was fun because it's the 10-year anniversary. Got to see an IMAX wait. It was always intended, which I feel like is every Nolan film is IMAX intended nowadays, which is great. I love IMAX. I missed being in that format for so long, and it was great to return. It was interesting, the whole experience at all, because it's a new blocking system, and I think the blocking system probably works at its finest in the IMAX, just because there is like such a wide range of seating, so that allows more capacity technically, but also there's just like way more rounds of block off, which is good. I mean, granted, the seats in the IMAX, if you don't have a renovated auditorium with the recliners, then it's the normal seating, so that's smaller. But lately, what I've been seeing for the block off is they'll block off literally every seat around you, not just left to right, front to back, but also diagonally as well. So like all 9 seats around you in the surrounding vicinity, you'll be closed off and you'll have a very normal seating to breathe, which they're trading off from what they were doing when I went to go see Inception, which was every other row was blocked, and then they'll block off your left and right. So it's basically the same thing anyway, but now there's more accessibility of each row. But going to see Inception in IMAX was great because normally when you see an IMAX movie, they tend to have the blockbuster specific trailers set. I only had Black Widow play, and then they just jumped into a full 10-minute behind the scenes of Tenet, which was really cool to see.
Oh, they played that before the movie?
Yeah, the one that dropped today, actually.
Oh, it dropped today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think somebody released it officially. But yeah, I went to go click through it, and I was like, oh, hey, this is what I saw. Because I remember John David Washington talk about his stunts and stuff.
I did not see that. Which
is so cool, because I was under the impression that they kind of looked at the stunts and maybe they did a few points of how is this gonna look when we reverse it or whatever. But I didn't know they were actually doing stunts backwards or the motion of backwards, and so they could just play it in forward time of them doing all that stuff. And I'm like, holy, this is beyond me. Just the planning for this movie and hearing what's Nolan's producer's name? She's a big part of the video. Emma. Oh yeah. Emma Thompson, maybe. Of just sure. She's in it, and his cinematographer Hoyt Van Hoytema is in it, just talking about reading and how are we gonna do this? Every Nolan script is how are we gonna do this? And they are just seeing their production office, because it's described as a globe-trotting adventure, and they're sitting there in LA trying to plan Nolan action shoots in across the world. And so they had 5 different clocks in the office. I'm just oh my god, I can't even imagine trying to plan a movie of this scale. It's cool.
That's really cool.
Absolutely. And I think there's no better pre-Nolan film to check out for Tenet than Inception, just based on all the crazy adventure that you go on with these specific set agents going through such a whirlwind of a different medium of plane of existence, basically different layers. It's Inception, but it really is. It's something else to experience in IMAX like it was intended. I think only available for a few more days this week, till maybe Thursday is the last showing. And even then, some will be pulled from the IMAX auditorium, and it's just the standard. You really should treat yourself because it's so phenomenal. Just hearing Hans Zimmer's soundtracks, just the horns that are so synonymous with marketing nowadays, it really is just a whole nother level. So it's so fun. It was great to be back, and I think it definitely sealed the deal with my excitement to go check out Tenet in the coming week, which is going to be fun altogether because it's the first real big new release, because nobody's going to see Unhinged. Let's be honest.
New Mutants, come on now.
No, that's right. No, you're right. I'm sorry. See, now that's bad because it's not tracking well. But
is any movie tracking well?
Tenet, maybe.
Apparently Tenet is. I don't know.
The movie cost over a lot of million, It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
it
making
made
20
it
million.
made like 40 million overseas this weekend in
I
select
thought it was
markets.
25. I think 25.
No, I think it's four. I don't know. I have to look.
Double check that.
Okay, I saw the 40 million
Let's
headline.
meet in the middle. Say 30.
Nice compromise.
We're professional.
Yep.
Um,
And also watch the Prestige, everybody. Inception is a great primer for Tenet, but Prestige is the best Nolan film. So
you know, I do kick myself every day because I still have not seen The Prestige, so I'm gonna catch that. I'm gonna catch that right before Monday for Tenet. I'm gonna see it. It's gonna be my next topic for next week.
Sweet.
Oh, the headline is Tenet is projected to earn 25 to 40 at international box office this weekend. So we got a range. It's there. Anywho,
Good old ranges, yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, so it's great to be back at the movies. It's fun. Yeah, Inception really still stands as my favorite Nolan film just because I'm so obsessed with dreams.
I think mine has to be Dunkirk. It's close though.
Naturally, I mean, how many
top
times
3
he's
for me.
praised
For being
Tom
for
Hardy
real.
and his plane. I mean,
I'm just gonna be flying for 2 hours and half an hour.
Oh my god.
no, the best thing that came out this past weekend was somebody's I think a half-star Tenet review on Letterboxd about like his unchronological order.
Oh, speaking of Letterboxd, if you guys go to the Tenet page on Letterboxd, if you scroll down, it flips and you can keep scrolling and it's like super cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
Cool.
I'll try to pull it up and show you.
I love interactive media.
So if you scroll past like the cast, it like I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's not gonna do it for me. Maybe it's.
You look like a fool.
I swear I saw it on Twitter. Oh, maybe you have to update the app. You got to update the app, and then it will do it for you.
Carson, tens of people are gonna see this.
I know, right?
But I saw it on Twitter, and I was like so impressed. And now I just try to do it, and then
So everything you see on Twitter, you just gotta believe, right?
no.
I mean, it's better news outlets than most media.
That's very true. Very true.
But yeah, where were we?
Let's get political.
Christopher Nolan. Yeah, I love Tenet. I love Inception. But yeah,
Okay.
I think, dude, I'm so hyped for Tenet just solely because they're based
Me
on
too.
it's not complete time travel, it's immersion, time or inversion. Just the whole concept of just like playing with like the flow of time, differentiating it's always so fascinating to me. So I would not be surprised, no matter how it pans out, because even though I think it's going to be great, Tenet could very easily take my favorite spot. So
That's high praise.
just from at least the concept alone. So I'm super hyped, man. I mean, I was super surprised watching Inception. I was like, I knew I was intrigued by this movie, but I wasn't expected to be emotional toward Inception because it really is just so passionate with the father-kid dynamic.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's incredibly emotional. It has one of the most emotional scenes of the decade where he's trying to get her from falling off the window, and it's just
Oh no!
that scene
They,
is perfect.
they do it a
It's a
couple
perfect scene.
times, man.
Yeah, it's like, don't do this.
And then you see like the
crazy
multiple
'cause it's-
versions of their houses,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Oh.
it's so layered because it's not just like dream idea planting, but it's also kind of unveiling mystery of death and stuff, and it's just it's crazy. It's so much good stuff. It's so layered, just like the concept. But yeah, it's been so fun to be back here. Obviously, fair warning, it's your own risk if you choose to go back to the theater. You really should follow every precaution to maintain the best experience. Same to theaters, they should be held to high standards. I've had to report the same dude twice because he was wearing his mask improperly while cleaning auditoriums. Like, he's the line of defense and you're doing it wrong. That's no good.
I heard he was fired too. Pretty crazy.
What? I don't know. It was crazy
I
though.
saw it on Twitter. He got fired.
I know, right?
A local AMC employee just gone.
Nathan in the front page, like,
You know, it's like I went the first day and like I reported it. He wasn't around when I did my report, but they're like the whole guest management wasn't around, so I had to actually like reach out to guest services online and give the location, and I did that. And then like I'm there the next day, and I don't think he's aware of anything from me, but like he walks out of the IMAX auditorium before I go into Inception, and like
He gives you a look.
he does give me a look, and I'm just like, all right. I don't think he knows, but I can also see as he walks out
You're
again,
gonna start getting
below the nose again. And I'm like,
you're gonna start getting Riddler letters to Nathan.
Why do you
he's gonna get Riddler letters from me, honestly.
You're gonna start hearing the duct tape noise in your dreams.
I'm gonna go into the bathroom. There's Court Owl logos all over my
Oh my god.
mirror.
Oh god.
But yeah, no. Just hold yourself to a high standard. Hold the theaters accountable to high standards because we want to get back to the norm of crowd events and fun and just the norm instead of this new norm. We want to function somewhere good until we can get developed vaccines and cures and stuff. So that being said, it's been about 20 minutes. Let's get into all things DC that took it's funny because they were advertising it being like it's a 24-hour event, but it was really only like about 12 hours ish.
And they redid the event.
Well, that saves money, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that went down. I suppose we'll go in order. I'll just kind of have my self-made schedule from the panels I was into.
Cool.
So we'll just run through them individually. I think is after Suicide Squad they touched on the Secret Surprise Project, which was a great reveal. So we'll get into that after. But starting off,
yes.
They kicked off with Wonder Woman 1984, which was great. It's crazy to think there was only one trailer prior to that. And not only that, but the fact that we're in an age where Wonder Woman 84 should have been out already. So that is just
it was supposed to be out last year.
True, and then
crazy.
Then we're here, and it was supposed to be out in June.
Yeah.
So said many Dorito bags.
Then
And then August.
Then October.
Yeah, so I mean, now that theaters are back open, and if like they can sustain stuff, maybe we'll be okay. Unless there's spikes and things suck. But
yeah,
Tenet's coming now. WB made their move, so
Yep.
So as far as the panel goes, I was like, this is probably one of the more like I like this panel, but if it definitely felt the most pre-recorded in comparison to like the Suicide Squad trailer, everyone's just goofing off. And or Matt Reeves just like literally going on a passionate rant about Batman, just sitting there having the time of his life.
A lot of clean cuts back and forth.
Yeah, it was just very like formal, like fan questions of like, hey, what is it like to, or what was your favorite moment for set? It was cool, but I definitely felt like the length of it, and I was like, oh, is the whole thing gonna be like this? But then we got to the trailer and erased all my worries about the panel. I mean, it's a panel.
Yeah, I kind of
got Cheetah, guys. We got the reveal of Cheetah.
Yeah, from Cats, right?
Yeah, and that's probably like the biggest discussion because like watching over the trailer, which was it was great, and the panel I'll say was it's amusing to like see the liveliness of the cast. Like Pedro's always fun to see. It's funny. I think Alan Noah brought up like he has the audacity to tease the Wonder Woman trailer. But we don't have Amanda. But,
I know, right?
But no, it was fun. Chris Pine is very tired.
He's always tired.
He's always tired. But it was fun. It was great seeing Linda Carter pop up, the original Wonder Woman.
Oh yes, I did love that.
Yeah,
so nice.
Supposed to make an appearance in this one finally.
I'd be down. I mean,
they couldn't get her in the first one.
That's crazy. They can't get her in the first big theatrical Wonder Woman film, but she's the principal in Sky High. That's funny, but yeah, dude, it was so great, and just like the respectful praise from Linda to Gal was great. But yeah, when the trailer came on, it was such a trip to experience. I have my reactions to a lot of the trailers up. Unfortunately, that was the biggest thing that deterred me. Was I was watching the stream, but then it started buffering, and I was like, "This is why I never react to live streams. My internet sucks." So I had to fix that. But watching the trailer, it's great to see. There was only like a quick hint of Themyscira, which I imagine we won't be spending a lot of time with its primary flashback stuff anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I think Themyscira is all going to be in flashbacks.
And they also dropped the openings. I remember seeing that that scene where they're running around on the poles is the opening scene of the movie, apparently.
Okay, yeah. Hans Zimmer dropped his Themyscira score.
Yes.
Which
and that's the first score? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the first track.
I think it's just called Themyscira.
Sweet. I didn't
Yeah.
listen to it because I want to go in blind.
Same.
Yeah.
With that. I mean, I'm still in that boat, unfortunately, because Billie Eilish's "No Time to Die" song came out, and I'm still waiting to hear it.
I saw bits and pieces of that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, man, it looks great. I'm excited to see whatever that tournament is they got lined up for that. But yeah, then we start getting this, and I think Carson brought up the potential theory that I think probably got even more personified here, that potentially Chris Pine's return might be linked to Diana's desires from whatever that crystal.
Oh yeah, and
Didn't I say that last week?
yeah,
I
no,
think everyone did, but
we both kind of said it, but it's cool because they definitely hint at that with both Cheetah and Wonder Woman in this, because I think it literally goes from Pedro's line of like, you can have anything you want, and then boom, smash cut to the hug between Gal and Chris, and
he's surprised that she's not aged, but also
I love that.
I mean,
their dynamic.
But also, this is kind of like the monkey's paw situation, because like he's like, you can have everything he's always wanted, and she, who is it? Barbara Minerva, who's Cheetah. She's like, I want to be like you. I want to be a superhero. She's probably like, I want to be strong, and you're like, okay, you can be strong, but guess what? You could turn into a freaking cheetah, like a real life.
It reminds me of Incredibles. Actually, it reminds me of Syndrome, like looking up to somebody. Like looking up to somebody as obviously not like as a child at that time. Maybe she is. I don't know if they like when she started looking up to her, she wants to be like this person, but I'm not too familiar with the character. But that being said, it's interesting. I love the dynamic of like, once the person aspiring for that same power gets it, how that manipulates them. And then I love the line in the trailer here of like, what have you done, Barbara, or something.
The delivery is so good. I like it. What did you do?
She watched Cats 2019. That's always fun.
Yeah, I think like she wishes for Chris Pine to come back. I don't know what her cost. I don't know what the cost of that's going to be.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because just like looking forward when Diana's in Justice League, it hits a nerve when Bruce brings up Steve Trevor. So something's going to probably happen to him throughout.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has to disappear by the end of this movie, right? Or maybe
for sure.
Maybe in the third act.
He might just be like a temporary thing that he's here, and then he'll like dematerialize or something.
Exactly. I think she's like, before she fights like Cheetah in the final act, she's like, I have to let you go, Chris. I know you're real, but you're not
it's
real.
Probably going to be linked to the destruction to save the world. He's gonna be lost.
He's like, I got to let you go. I have to fight Cheetah. I know you're not real. I have to become who I am. I have to become Wonder Woman.
And it's going to be a flipped moment of, the first movie where it's very much him leaving her like, hey, I got to go do this.
Yes,
it's going to be a flip moment of that, of like, she's going to take the agency of the situation and go off on her path. Which is, that's
going to hurt. And it's so cool because the 80s is all about like this thing of greed, excess, want, and the whole power ability of the main villain here is like he wants everybody to be like mind controlled or whatever. Yep. That's why I thought the White House too, because there's a shot where he's like in like this big newsroom. I think that's why him and Cheetah attacked the White House, because the presidential broadcast
or something,
whatever. Sure. You can say like, wait, I want you guys to do whatever you want, and that's why there's riots in the streets, because everybody hears that and they're all like, oh, okay. And it's kind of like a Kingsman situation going on.
It's funny you bring that up. I was I'm assembling clips for this Batman edit I'm doing. That sounds like the plot to Batman Forever in Riddler's scheme. He built like mind control machines and stuff. Yeah, live out your fantasies because it brainwaves, but then like takes over.
I completely forgot about Batman Forever, but thank you very much.
I like this trailer too because we can like get little hints of this stuff, but we really don't get a main kind of thing of what this movie is, all the intricate details of what this movie is about, which I like how it doesn't really dive into it. Which is great for me, at least for sequels, where it's like we don't have to like know everything. We can. I think we're still going to be surprised in some instances of this movie, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think
Voltron, we're looking at you.
And I think it's going to be like super fun as well, just with the whole 80s aesthetic, which has been like the biggest trend in this last decade, anyway. But I think it's fun to have essentially Steve Trevor, even though it's kind of like the fish out of water trope, at least it's a character we're familiar with, and it's a different setting than modern day. It's not just like, oh, what's an iPhone? It's parachute pants, like
Yeah, I like that a lot.
different switch
Oh,
ups.
also, the invisible jet gets teased.
That's what I was just gonna bring.
That's really
up.
cool.
I'm really hoping that's like where they're going. I would
Because there's a one point in the last trailer, and they show it again here, where she's like riding the lightning.
Yeah,
I thought that was like she's riding the invisible jet, but
no,
we
but she
can't
really
see
grabs
it.
the lightning though.
But yeah, in this time we see the lightning. I thought like the first trailer, I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's
Yeah.
the invisible jet.
But when
this
she's
one,
like flying just straight through clouds,
Yeah.
that's intriguing. I'm excited to if they really do pull off that. I'll be so happy.
it's gonna be so
Yeah.
cool.
And they've been wrapped on this for so long. Like the effects really look good. Especially that one where the truck flips and she gets flinged up into the air. That
love
whole
that,
sequence
yeah.
looks incredible. Also just like all the the fireworks when they go off. I love like the cinematography there.
Dude, I hope
just
this
looking up.
I hope this plays in stellar quality in front of Tenet, hopefully, because I need to see it on a HD
Me too.
screen, because everything I've been seeing is like everything looks good for sure, but like with the file compression, everything is kind of hard to.
And that's why you have Matt Reeves dropping the Vimeo link.
I still need to watch the actual Vimeo link because
it's
it sucks
glorious.
too, because I literally re-downloaded from YouTube twice the official upload, and I'm just like, why is there so much like box static around the logo?
Oh, you can go download most of those. Like I downloaded the Vimeo one today just through a lot of the converters that I use support Vimeo links too. So you can just go.
I'm
there.
probably gonna do that, especially if it's on the 4K quality. So
Mhm.
that'd be fun. I even saw that Patrick Williams was tweeting about it too. Maybe have a good link for that, but yeah, man, I'm super excited. As far as Cheetah goes,
She didn't look the greatest.
no,
But
that's
it's a
where I was
trailer
going.
though, so I'm like,
Yeah, that's where I was going with, because like again, I had like horrible stream file compression, so like I couldn't fully pick up her look, and it's dark, which is normally good for CG. Far better than Cats 2019, I'll say.
Also, we had there was no really still frame of like full focus. It was she was always in motion, and so we couldn't really get like a full on in the light glance at her, which I kind of like that we didn't get to see that, just her in action.
Yeah, like I want to save something like that for the movie for sure. But I'm definitely, and it's funny too, because initially while the trailer's going, I didn't even know if they were actually going to go full cat body with Cheetah, because they like, as she's like approaching Wonder Woman in the White House, she's got like a cheetah print like skirt and stuff, and I was like, okay, so we're like laid back with it. All right, I can do it. But then no, they go all out, which was a pleasant surprise for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, same here.
October 2nd?
Second, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Month away. Crazy.
Oh my God.
That is pretty crazy. Wow.
Those A-list reservations now. Yeah, no, it was fun. Following that, we had a very quick rapid fire 10-minute flash panel with Ezra Miller and Andy Muschietti.
This was a surprising panel, because I remember last week we were like, what can they possibly tease? And we kind of got it right, where they're like, okay, just going to show us some concept art. The movie comes out in 2 years. They told us a lot about concept art and about like who's in the movie, which was very exciting.
Yeah, and like I did, and even there's already like previous comments from Muschietti, like officially on reports of his offerings of like Batman in the film, which was definitely interesting to discuss. Just the factor of Michael Keaton's Batman and Ben Affleck's Batman now both set to appear, because Affleck is the Batman that he knows, but also there's the other ones he'll encounter. And it's interesting with this concept art. First off, I love the new suit. I think it looks
incredible.
Looks great. I'm actually currently working on a little cartoon project right now with the second part of the Fandome event, and I was drawing out the suit and I was examining it, and it's so great to see. Like it's primarily just like sleek red, but it also has those light red tinted highlights surging through.
Yeah, from the Speed Force, you can kind of see the Speed Force like flowing through him, which I always like. Even in the CW one, it's kind of sleek, which I kind of like. I like that sleeky version of the Flash from the comic books, which is kind of the opposite of what we got from the Justice League and what we'll see in the Justice League Snyder Cut, where it's very scraped together. It makes sense because Ezra's making his own costume, but
it's funny to see because thinking back when Ezra's Flash cameoed on the Crisis event on the CW, he actually was examining the sleekness of Grant's.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So all translates together, very nice multiverse. But it was great to see the concept arts, not just with the semblance of the new suit, which he's mostly silhouetted in, but then there was the other one where it was brought up. Feel however you may. It's they addressed that Bruce is the one that builds the Flash suit, which
I don't like it, but it does make sense in terms of the theme of the movie.
But also, as they say that, they highlight the second concept art where he's not only with Batman, it is specifically Michael Keaton's Batman, same cowl and logo and everything. They're in the Batcave, and so I don't know if he's going to be specifically the one to design it, but
I don't think so, right?
Also, the other big thing about, I don't know if this is mentioned, this is for sure mentioned in the Vanity Fair article about like them exploring the shared relationship or their shared trauma, essentially, which is really cool. And I imagine that by the end of this movie, I don't know what happens in the Flashpoint comics, but probably his access to this Bruce Wayne is going to be cut off or waned in some way where, he's going to have to grow beyond, the person who designed his suit or like just his help in general.
Like I'm thinking of like whenever we talk about shared trauma, I think of the final. Have you guys seen the Flashpoint movie? The animated movie?
I need to dive into all the animated.
There's a very important scene with that Flash's main Batman.
Oh no, I did see that. They were sharing that clip around.
Exactly, where he gets the letter from Thomas Wayne of the Flashpoint universe, and he reads it and it says like, "I'm happy that Bruce became like the person that he is today."
Oh,
and it's the first time we see Bruce crying, and it's amazing.
He takes off the cowl and he's just crying.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I doubt we'll see Thomas Wayne in this movie, but it is cool that we're getting that notion of the shared trauma part of their relationship because both of them lost their parents, both lost their he lost his mother, so did Bruce Wayne and his father. So it's very interesting. I'm excited.
This is so great because I've, as I've been diving into the Batman comics finally, every time it cuts back to Wayne Manor, it goes, Wayne Manor, my father's house. And it doesn't, he's like, he won't take ownership of it. And I'm just like, oh my God, it hurts.
Yeah, I love it. But it's still very fascinating because, so this is going to be a Flashpoint movie. Andy Muschietti said so as much, but it's going to be Flashpoint in name only, kind of. Besides, like, it is going to be time travel, but we're not going to see the Aquaman versus Wonder Woman war that we get in the comic books.
It's similar to when Age of Ultron was coming out. Like I specifically bought the full every accompaniment textbook sized issue
of Age of Ultron
event. And I was reading through it.
Me too.
Wolverine's in it. Everybody's in it. They're time traveling. It's like
a Days of Future Past thing with Age of Ultron.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you see the movie, and it's more like the week of Ultron, the minor setback of Ultron.
You're right. It's very funny.
Still fun. I mean, it's cool because I love Ultron stuff, and it's got that core ideals of wanting to take over the world and stuff with technology. But
I like the notion of the multiverse in here, and I think the writer Christina Hodson says this is the beginning of the multiverse in the DC universe as a whole, which is pretty massive.
Which is
I'm glad they're finally going there. They're just
which is
anything to take away from this whole DC fandom event is they're just going in their own direction now, and they're just all the better for it. They're just saying, right, multiverse, separate Batman. We're just a wacky Suicide Squad that's a gritty war movie, but with James Gunn humor and characters. This is all over the place. Good for them.
Which is even better and gives them the upper hand from Marvel is the fact that they don't have to be tied down from specific story threads stitched all together in one existing world. I mean, maybe Marvel will be able to branch out of that too after Doctor Strange, but now here, and it's great that they're showing the accompaniment of clips and stuff that every iteration of any DC thing you have ever seen has happened, but in its own separate bubble. They can correspond if you ever went to that level of event, but you don't have to know every deep thing. And that's what I loved about the whole Crisis event thing that was going on for CW, because they were crossing over with movies and TV shows and everything, which was awesome. But the fact that the movies are also sticking with that, which I would hope so, because Ezra was featured. it's phenomenal. It's such a great idea. It definitely gives them the upper hand. But yeah, I would also say in regards to Flashpoint, whenever I do think of that, my primary focus isn't like, oh, I hope we see the Amazonians and the Atlanteans fighting. It's like, oh, I want to see the progression of Barry trying to save his mom.
This is where I have to ask you guys. So the movie comes out in 2 years. They have this whole panel. Zero mention of the Reverse Flash. Now, there's rumors going around that he won't be in this movie.
But can you do it without?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, who kills Barry's mom then? Like,
Right.
Reverse Flash murders his mom.
Unless you change it and you'd be like, another Barry kills him or something.
Oh,
Well,
geez, that'd be crazy.
It's interesting because it's already set up in Justice League that his father is incarcerated and was framed.
You are right. So I guess it has to be Reverse Flash.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that means like Barry's going to discover who this guy is in the film at the start, or like through the progression of the film. Like, we won't have an accompaniment of Reverse Flash until then. But I don't know.
It's very interesting because I remember when this whole Flashpoint thing got rumored like years ago. I was like, really? Flashpoint for the very first Flash movie? Like, we don't even understand his connection to his mother or his dad yet, because Justice League kind of screwed that
Glossed
under the
over
bus.
it, yeah.
Which I think will add it out in Snyder.
Exactly. Yeah. Granted, we're going to see that in the full Snyder cut now, but which works out for the Flash. But
Yeah.
I'm still like, I want a movie about him and his mom, or I want a movie about like a relationship before I see this whole Flashpoint thing.
And I think they can still achieve that by acting or going from the perspective that's already lived in, you know. So you can get a lot of character of like that interactions of like them hinting at things and just within the dialogue or what they're doing in the scene. But I agree, and also the other thing is I really want Kirstie Clemens to come back as Iris West. And I don't think she's going to, because there's been...
I think she was announced for it.
No, she hasn't been.
It hasn't been confirmed.
That they were recasting or something, and then we haven't heard anything. But I would hope, especially now she's going to be back in the Snyder Cut, that she would get to come back.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'd be shocked if she wasn't.
Yeah, I would too, but...
That'd be weird.
You never know.
But yeah, I'm super looking forward to the progression of that, and also I think we could maybe like through different elements of flashback, maybe get a sense of Barry's connection. I mean, I know Andy is no stranger to that. Back when he was doing Chapter 2, there's a lot of like from adulthood to childhood transitions.
Yeah. It is very emotional. Like, could you really get the you kind of feel the emotion between Billy and I'm forgetting the older brother's name right now. But between him, the older brother and the younger brother, that's kind of like the emotional driving force of the first It movie.
Yeah, and whenever I am watching it, I'm never just like, oh, when's the killer clown coming back? What scary thing we got?
No, you want to be with the human characters.
Exactly. Also, in terms of time travel, it is cool that we're going to see that set up in the first Justice League, because Zack Snyder, we'll talk about it more when we get over to Justice League. But
I got some.
It's kind of teased in Justice League, so it makes sense how he's able to not easily do it, but how he's able to do it off the bat in the first Flash movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna dive deep into that, but I definitely have words. But yeah,
I'm excited too for how Aquaman fleshed out what the visuals of Atlantis are actually going to look like. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for this movie to kind of dive into what their Speed Force wants to look like. Great point. Obviously, I think it's going to take some inspiration both from Snyder stuff and just previous. Yeah, I would.
That's the thing, isn't it? Is like whenever
it's the same blue screen over and over in the
Anyways,
you're just running. I think in the streets.
I think it's going to be cool how they play with it. I hope there's some slow motion sequences. Of course, I think of the Future Past. I would love to see something like that in Speed Force. Obviously, not ripping it off directly, but something cool. Can you imagine? I could put time.
Yeah. Clearly a classic pop song, and then do Speed Force. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy. Like, just to think all together. Like, you're not just gonna be running through the essence of time, but like running through existing time. You're running through existing time in
space,
multiple branches of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Which is like picturing. And granted, I haven't started CW Flash is. I don't know how their Speed Forge looks, but
It's basically a blue portal like every time. I'm like, really? Okay.
do we ever go in or
I mean, he goes in, but it's just like he sees
do we,
images.
the audience, go in?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'll get
I'm making it seem less interesting than it actually is, but it's actually pretty.
Oh yeah, I'm
But,
intrigued. Getting there, but
also, like, lastly, like, this is a farewell to Ben Affleck's Batman, which I think is really nice.
yeah, which good.
Because
because
I
know
never
he's
thought
not
we'd
gonna
see
be
it
long.
happen.
Yeah, I'm happy altogether that he's back at all to do this.
Mhm.
Everyone's joking. Thank you, Ana de Armas.
Woo-wee.
But anyway,
Oh man,
no, it's really gonna be. It's fun watching the. It's crazy just seeing like new scenes in like the Snyder Cut trailer too. Just like the fact that like for so long he's just been so tapped out since like I think even before Justice League released, and that was like 3 years ago now. So the fact that like you ever see like a new accompaniment of him or an announcement, it's surreal to even think that he's been on board. But it's also great because I think that shows sign that like he's in a much better spot than he was.
totally, yeah. Like he had the way back this year, which he still might get a Best Actor nomination, granted because of the whole less movies this year. But also, he's going back to doing directing in a few years from now. I think he has a new project coming up, so I'm very excited for him.
Very nice. Yeah. I think that about covered Flash stuff.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it was just kind of a lot of jokey puns and brick rolls.
Yeah, really weird.
But yeah, that's pretty good. Following that, though, we do get to the massive Suicide Squad panel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, which was dense.
Super dense. Yeah.
We didn't actually. I thought we would actually maybe get a accompaniment of a trailer. We did not, but we did get a couple things. First off, was just like the full roster of what actors playing what character, with a lot of different choices of just like a lot of randomness. Because you have, classics where you have like Harley Quinn, and it's like, okay, yeah, I expected Boomerang and everybody, but then you have somebody like Weasel, and it's like, what the hell?
And I love that Sean Gunn is playing Weasel.
Right, it's just
like
translation from Rocket, right? And like there's so many wacky designs too, like the fact that they go full out with Polka Dot Man, or just like the crazy bleach blonde Michael Rooker, like
dude. And the Polka Dot Man thing, I rewatched that the behind the scenes spot, and there's this thing where he's actually like throwing like practical polka dots in the like.
It's so cool.
It's like you're throwing like existing tracking dots, but then
they're like, oh. I'm so excited to see what that looks like in camera, because it's just like a lot of these characters, I just see them and I'm just like, that's such a James Gunn character, even though it's like obviously these characters have rich comic runs and histories in the DC universe. Just seeing them on camera in this movie, it's just like seems so James Gunn, and I love just seeing the cast. I think is going to have one of the best chemistries of all the DC projects going on right now. Everyone just seems like so thrilled to be in this.
No one's getting dead rats. Everybody's. I'm sorry.
Wow. But it was very funny how he kept saying like, "Oh, this is my favorite cast, and I had the most fun working."
I kept thinking that. I'm like, what is going on?
Are you overcompensating? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, we get it.
In the background,
like, yeah, like
especially because Rooker's sitting right there, and he's like, "Well,
yeah,
I'm in both." So
Dave Bautista's like, I put my contract on the line for you.
Is Batista in this? I don't think he is.
He was rumored. He could be King Shark for all we know, like the voice of King Shark at least. But
everybody thinks it's Taika though,
which would be awesome too. He is credited in the movie, so
yeah. Watch it just be like a small cameo of like human Taika. Just
hey guys, get shot in the first act.
He's this character from
that'd be kind of funny.
That'd be insane. But yeah, it's a lot of things were going down, and it's cool. We got the official roster. Yeah, and it's this whole cast is crazy. Like from like Idris Elba, and
that was the main big surprise because
he was
rumored to be Deadshot, but he was rumored to be what's it called, like Black Claw. But now he's Bloodsport. Yeah.
Which is funny because like we're all like live chatting in the chat, and then Carson comes in. Oh, he's Deadshot, and I was like, did you read the letters?
No, I didn't. I was like, wait. So what is the character's name?
Okay,
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport, and he is a character who was arrested for in the comics killing Superman with a kryptonite bullet, but I imagine they could still go that route, but maybe they'll just like graze Superman. I can't
I
imagine.
think he said he got shot, right? I think it was just shot in the head
shot Superman.
Yeah, which good.
with a
'cause I don't
kryptonite
want
bullet.
I don't want Henry's Superman to be officially dead.
Yeah, that'd be weird. I think he just said he got arrested because he got shot.
Yeah.
Paid by Lex Luthor, perhaps.
And that would totally make sense for him to be like so high level of a asset, because like this is a dude who wounded Superman. Like that's crazy.
That's pretty badass. Yeah, I did not expect that to happen.
So, and yeah, there's a lot of like random characters I'm not very familiar with. I could not tell you who John Cena is playing. I think he's Peacemaker. He's Peacemaker, I think. But
Peacemaker, I think, yeah, which is very aggressive character.
Douchey Captain America in the file.
That was funny.
John Cena's just like, got it.
And Nathan Fillion playing this character called TDK, which isn't in the comics, I don't think.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, so I'm very interested. He's one of those characters, like, there's a lot of characters that you see in this cast list which are going to get killed in the first 15 minutes. I was making a joke like, okay, which of these characters get killed in the first act and are never coming back? I think the Thinker's one of them for sure. I think the Thinker's gone, played by Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who fame.
Right.
Pete Davidson's a goner in the early.
Easily.
Dude, it was funny because there was like all these like new shots of these characters in the roster lineup, but then like they showed Pete Davidson. I'm like, that's just his leaked set photos.
I know. I bet he has like 2 scenes. I think he's.
Yeah, I think a lot of these people have just like 2 or 1 scene. Michael Rooker too. I don't think he survives long.
Probably not. No.
You don't think?
And you have like those people, which
I think the main crew is going to be Boomerang, Harley, Bloodsport, King Shark.
Yeah. It looks so smooth.
Actually, you're probably right because, we got that other panel of like the Suicide Squad game or whatever. Speaking of which, hasn't that been in production for like 5 years? And then they're like 2022. I'm like,
yeah, I think they just announced what the game actually was recently, which was the Just League Kill Suicide Squad, which is
vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the main crew in that has like Harley, King Shark. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a lot of overlap from.
Yeah, and then we get that
Harley and King Shark are on the cartoon as well.
Yeah, so
and we get that one wide shot of all these people on the beach. I think that wide shot includes like the main characters.
Yeah.
Because the main premise of this movie, like Carson said earlier, it's 1970s inspired gritty war drama, and I think Amanda Waller sends these people to a foreign country. I have no idea where the country is. It probably looks like something DC Comics related. Sure. Foreign country. And then they have to dismantle some dictatorship, which was really funny because that's something I really wanted to see in the first one. Like, that's the kind of Suicide Squad we all want from the comic books. Like, they're sent
that kind of mission.
Yeah, they're sent to foreign nations to like dismantle this dictatorship or take away this hostage or something like that. Something small, though it is.
Which is so it's fascinating because especially it's so much more like current events of like. Like prison labor and all those things of like the ethical dilemma of actually sending these convicted felons into someone else's war and then whatever it's like fascinating versus the Ayer's Suicide Squad, which is very much like, oh, you're gonna like drop in and there's gonna be like a wiggly monster in the air and then which is
a Justice League level threat and sending in mercs.
Makes no sense. Like it's funny because the original Suicide Squad is a smaller cast and apparently way less explosions, but it's still like it's such a Justice League event, like Nathan was just saying, that it doesn't really make sense. But this one, bigger explosions, bigger cast, but the premise is what it should be. It's like a smaller scale premise where they're just going to a foreign nation and it's pretty much it. Like they're going to kill some people and leave, which is all I want to see from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be quite fun. It's again, it's crazy seeing just the different looks of King Shark through all these medias. Like somebody was sharing out the tweets, and like I realized I actually have never seen King Shark on the Flash. But somebody shared a screenshot. I'm like, the dude is ripped. It's funny because I was watching one of Kevin Smith's stand-up specials that's on Amazon right now, his most recent one. and
Mhm.
he was telling a story about how before he got hired on to like work on these shows, he was getting into being a fan, and like his friend Jay would call him up. It's like, dude, they're actually like doing King Shark for real on the Flash, and he actually looks good. And it's funny because like I hear that and I'm just like, oh, well, I know it's a CW, but it's all like I'll refrain my thoughts. But then I went to see it and I'm like, that actually has like a lot of texture to it. I would have imagined what they have for the Suicide Squad on the Flash, but dude,
Yeah.
dense. It's crazy. But then you see like the contrast, and it's funny because he looks at like how he does on the Harley Quinn cartoon, which is also a very fun adaptation of him, and I think they'll probably like roll with that. It's crazy too because in lore, and I think they'll probably stick with that in the game, is that he's actually a demigod, which is
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I think a Palestinian demigod specifically. So he's like shark of color, but it's funny just like of that like set backgrounds and stuff. But I imagine they'll go more jokey, and that's fine because I also know James Gunn is very good with heart, just from the Guardians films. So I think if for anything else, you might get a mix of like Guardians mixed with like his film Super that he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're gonna get some heart too because it just Elba mentioned how Storm Reed is playing his daughter, so there's gonna be that kind of connection in the movie as well, which was pretty nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because there's not too much to go off of because it was laid back, but also you did get a lot just seeing all the behind the scenes with the sizzle reel, which is great. A lot of great design.
Some great sets. I didn't expect
huge.
I mean, I expected this movie to be big, but I didn't expect it to like be this big. Like it just looks massive. And
I think James said it was like the biggest thing he'd worked on.
Right. And it looks just like explosions everywhere. I think we're gonna get the most like the craziest Harley Quinn action scenes we've probably ever seen. Birds of Prey really has that brutal kind of action where it's like very much like when Harley hits someone with a bat, she hits someone with a bat. I think there's going to be like just a lot more craziness and wackiness going on in this movie. And can we just say Harley looks great in this movie?
He does.
Best look
amazing.
I loved her Birds of Prey costume, but this one looks very good and also very comic accurate, which is cool too.
I liked seeing she had updated back tattoo. Like in Suicide Squad, it said property of Joker, but now it says property of no one. Great character progression.
Pretty awesome.
Great canon, but yeah, it's so fun and it's so interesting just seeing Harley bounce from these different mediums. Even though she's back to Suicide Squad, it's a whole different ideal of take on it.
Was there a rumor that like Christina Hodson's going to develop another thing with Harley Quinn? I thought I saw that around the weekend.
I think I just saw a lot of the trusted scoopers were saying Gotham City Sirens is back on the table.
Yeah, like I want that with Harley Quinn. I just want more Harley Quinn movies with Christina Hodson.
I would love Kathy Ann to do.
And Kathy Ann
Gotham
too.
City, Gotham City Sirens.
And yeah, she clearly proved herself here. I think
because I think David Ayer was originally going to do that.
Yeah, which I don't think he's still attached anymore. I
don't think so. Either.
I don't think he's attached to anything currently. For the DC, just because of where things were left.
Oh yeah. Also, do you guys think? Because we were mentioning Birds of Prey, is this movie going to be rated R as well? Did they confirm this in the panel? I don't know if they did.
How did Birds of Prey do box office wise?
I mean, not great, but not bad.
Like 300 million worldwide, I think.
Yeah,
which I think would be fine.
But either way, I think this movie's going to be a huge success, even if it's rated R.
Oh yeah. I mean, the first Suicide Squad movie made over $720 million. Like it just kept going. Everyone didn't like it, and it just kept making money. So imagine if you have a critically acclaimed, more going back to the roots of the comics of what Suicide Squad is, and then on top of that, you have James Gunn's unique kind of like comedy and
with such a
mixed in.
Such a star-studded cast as well.
Right. There's so much going for it.
And there's so much crazy because even like with some of the characters you may not recognize, like actors you may not recognize, a lot of them are also playing roles that are different. Like not a lot of the general audience know who Sean Gunn is, but they're like, "What's this weasel guy?" There's this giant shark running around. What the hell's going on?
I remember saying the same thing back in 2013 or whatever. I'm like, what is Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, I had no idea. And
I
then,
remember I was following like so many updates. I was like, this stuff with the Nova Corps, what's all this? Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you get to the theaters and you get to the prison scene, and you're like, oh my god,
remember-
I'm close to life. It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
My favorite thing I saw from Guardians was something from Reddit leaked the rotation shot with Groot walking on his arm or on his shoulder, and like I saw that and I was like, oh, this looks so weird, but it was also a weird quality, and I'd never seen what Groot looked like before. So when I first saw it, I was like, this looks terrifying. Like, honestly, Groot looked kind of scary, but I think everything clearly worked out. But yeah, I'm super excited to see where things go for there. And before we hop next into the Snyder Cut, they did have the new accompaniment of an announcement, and that would be that they're developing a bunch of new stuff regarding Static Shock, not only in the pages of the comics, but also back with the animation of series and also development of a live action film,
which is super exciting for me. Like, no lie, guys. Like, every other year or so, I always like Google like most recent Static Shock comics or Static Shock live action stuff, because the last Static Shock comic that I bought and read was in, I think, 2011 to 2012. There was a small run there, pre New 52. That was pretty okay. It was pretty decent, but I'm like, I grew up loving Static Shock on WB64, and I needed him to get his own live action TV show or movie or anything. So I'm super pumped that they're finally going through with making it an actual movie. I think there's so much potential here with Static Shock.
Yeah, and it was great watching the panel too. Not only this announcement, they were touching on the embodiment of the character and how they were and they were showcasing a lot of like scenes where they were dealing with actual like serious subjects, because the animated series took away from that.
It didn't. There's a whole episode where his best friend's father was racist.
Yeah, dude,
it's
watching
crazy.
That one is so crazy. I was like seeing other like I think they specifically showcased on the stream like where like he finds and disposes of a gun and stuff, and there's like all this different stuff.
Yeah, like it was a deep show. I remember watching that when I was like at least like 8 or something. I'm like, wow, like this show was. I mean, it's not ahead of its time, but like to today, it's
like the essence of like you would see other stuff like trying to like handle properly PSA, but like done right, like how it should be.
Exactly, really done right. Because like Virgil is such a very kind-hearted, very awesome character. And I always related to him when I was super young. And like, even to this day, lightning powers are still like my favorite. People's always like, oh, I want to fly or super strength. That BS. And I'm like, give me lightning powers. Like, come on.
Is this series on any...
I checked over the weekend, Carson, and guess what? It's not. It's
not even on DC. It's not even on DC.
No,
Really?
It's stupid.
Wow.
You can pay like $1.99 on YouTube. I literally checked this weekend.
Oh my god!
I was so hyped.
Why would they not put that on HBO Max?
I don't know. I'm pissed.
I mean, it's got to be coming, right? Like,
Oh, speaking of like casting, though, if they do like a live action thing, someone added John Boyega, of course, because he's a huge star, and everyone's like,
yeah,
and he's like, no, I'm too old. Please cast. I'll let a newcomer do it, which is super cool. Which I would love
really
a no name to take this and just run with it and just become a star from it.
Yeah, because I want to see Static Shock. I don't want to see somebody I know. Which would be just so great. I have very vague memory from childhood of Static Shock, but I know it, like he was always so ingrained in my brain from whenever I did see him on the WB cartoon channels every time. It's great too because it's funny. Like whenever I like look to him, I never like really think about him in the interconnected DC universe, but he is like he's
in Young Justice a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he appears in Young Justice. I don't think he appears in the Justice League animated series, but yeah, Young Justice season 2. There's a couple episodes where Static Shock joins the team, and I'm like, yes, stay on the team. And it never happens. But
man.
Also, Carson, I just checked. So Static Shock is on the DC Universe app, but I don't.
Which is gonna merge. Isn't that merging into HBO Max?
It should, but they're doing like one show at a time. Like they have Harley Quinn on HBO Max, but they don't have every other.
For some reason,
they just announced that the third season of Doom Patrol is going to be made by HBO Max.
Yeah, I'm like, why can't DC Universe just merge in full? Because like, there's no way to watch DC Universe on my TV. Like, I don't think there is. And it's only like available on your phone.
See, I thought it was going. I guess the only thing holding them back is they have like all the comics on there or whatever. Of like, hey, you can access your comics and then you can go over and watch your animated stuff.
They have a subscription of the HBO Max app then. Like,
right, do it DC and just have your. I mean, don't think anyone would be opposed if your whole library is still in a singular place. What is there to complain about it being combined with more content?
Make it make sense. I have no idea.
Make it make sense.
You can make it. You can even like convert them into like motion comic style that onto your TV.
That would be awesome.
Wow, that would be. If I could read motion comics on my TV of like Batman and everything. Woo!
Yeah, and you could have automated like zoom and stuff and different like the panels like going. Oh my god.
Come on, DC Universe, watch our show.
Give me a voice. Give me like a special like voice cast. It'd be like it'd be going through the frames, and you have like it'd be like a whole new different thing.
Man,
I mean, yeah, with how many like DC animated films that they make, it would be even easier to just like do these still framed comics.
I think they did that for what was it called? Watchmen. You can like look it up on YouTube. There's like a Watchmen motion comic of the graphic novel.
Of the graphic.
There's one. Yeah. There's also one for. It's not a motion comic, but there is like an audio read through the Killing Joke.
That too. Yes. Yeah. So it's happened before, so it's easy to implement now. So come on. But yeah, that was probably my favorite surprise of the weekend.
There you go, free money.
Free money.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was a great reveal, and it's funny because everybody was like leading up to like, what could the secret thing be? Is it even going to be a movie? And then it's funny because even in chat, one of the guys was just like, oh, they're just talking about comics. And I'm like, well, I'm here.
Like, come on, I read all the comics.
And I was rewarded for sticking around, even though I do like comics. Because they were like, boom, Static Shock comic show film.
Yeah, I was playing Last of Us, like, oh, it's probably nothing, and then boom, I'm like, oh wait, what's going on here?
What is it?
No, it's interesting because I remember a few days before everyone was like writing off the panel because it got changed to unknown DC Comics panel versus having it to be like unknown DC movie production or whatever. Sure. But yeah, I'm glad that this got announced because such an awesome thing.
Also, lastly, for early director pick, I want the guy who directed Slight. It's like J.D. Dillard, whatever.
Well, I still need to see Slight, but that looked really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen Slight, but all of his comments and stuff, like I read a lot of interviews with him. He seems like a very passionate guy. And there's also this one movie that he did. I think it's on Netflix now, which is really good. I forget the title of it, but yeah, I think he'll be a great up and comer. You gotta get a black guy to do this movie. Come on.
Oh, without a doubt.
I don't want a freaking Joss Whedon Static Shock movie.
Oh no.
Poor Ray.
He did Sweetheart with Kirstie Clemens.
Yes, which is on Netflix, which is excellent.
Yes, and it came out last year. I didn't know that.
Watch it, guys.
Okay. Nice. That about almost halfway. No, it's about that. That does bring us to Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder.
Ooh, yeah.
It's coming. It's here.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, no, we're going to go through this panel because this is probably like it was obviously like one of the top two panels of the day along with the Batman.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, I think so. I think I'm mainly talking anticipation, but I think it definitely hit me because watching through it was great because like most of the panel is just Zack himself highlighting the fans and contributors of the movement that like did like big stuff, not just like joining in on the hashtags, but like he brought up like the girl who lives in China who like made the full like blown website for updates of it.
And was she the one who did the billboard too? Was that somebody else?
Maybe because there was another man featured too.
Yeah, one of them did the big billboard in Times Square, which was pretty
and the plane that flew by saying release Snyder Cut. Yeah, Warner Brothers thought.
Just like thinking the whole inception of this movement because it really did start out with like obviously there was passionate fans, but there was also like the level of toxicity mixed in, which is
definitely
a lot. And that was primarily what gave it the full rap of the whole movement primarily. So whenever anybody would even bring up the Snyder Cut, it would be like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But
yeah, I used to not like the movement because under HBO Max is every single tweet would be like release the Snyder Cut. I'm like, they can't tweet out anything about like Westworld or Game of Thrones.
AT&T, the phone company.
Exactly.
They're still doing that. They're like, release the Ayer cut, release.
So it got super annoying, but I do like. I think it was mostly. And I'm guilty of it too. I think it was like the slight or the loud minority of the ones being very like angry and idiotic.
And it was another like level of just like a lot of people would like even like bigger accounts would be like, give it up and shut it down. It's not going to happen. And you know it really does feel that way when you think like it's been almost 3 years since Justice League released.
Crazy,
which is insane. Like November 2017. And it's interesting too because there is like a lot of heart behind the movement too, for sure. And I obviously fall into that point. And I get it, man, because so many collective people walked out of Justice League were just like, not only were things just like wrong specifically, but like so much was missing, like from all the existing trailers and stuff, whether that was broke down to reshoots or they just like changed out the color schemes and stuff, trying to make it brighter and all that. And it was just it was insanity. Yeah. So
and it pays off here. You see a completely different movie in the teaser. I mean, I know there was some controversy going around of like Zach actually called a popular critic out online of like,
I didn't love the tweet, but
yeah, but like
that was an interesting point. I was also like thinking upon that.
I don't blame him because here's
called the movie for grown-ups,
but like
not for grown-ups.
I get it.
Okay, we can. It's cheesy, but also this man. Think about it. He like lost his daughter during this, and he's grieving, and like this is like his this is his baby. Like I mean,
yes, that's the.
So I understand the passion behind it,
and that's
of course. Yes,
I think that's the thing to break down because and that's like been like the biggest criticism I keep hearing from like people, which I don't even know is why it's such a big deal, is the fact that he used the Hallelujah song.
Hallelujah, yeah.
Which, I mean, granted, I haven't actually seen Zack Snyder's Watchmen yet, which I plan to, but I know it's
wow.
I know.
Who am I podcasting with again? Jesus.
I know, and I want to watch.
You even read comic books,
and I especially watch it before I hop into the HBO series, even though they're not connected. I still want to see the different iterations. But I'm very excited to check them all out. But yeah, in regards to like the criticism of it, I think there's a lot of like layers to it. Obviously, like when you watch the trailer, it feels like, oh yes, his vision's finally realized. But like it also has been stated it's a deep emotional connection for a tribute to his daughter that he did lose. And when you break down the whole aspect of thing, I can see why he would be emotionally reactionary to tweet something like that, just because like thinking of the thought that like you spent so much years and like this big company WB has invested to like run with your vision. Like you had all the course of action for Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and you went through with that. And now you're going to be creating the accompaniment of Justice League, but then you have a major personal tragedy that you have to pull away from. This is a big project you put so much time into, but you have to step away for this. And then somebody else comes in to take over your set vision you had, manipulate it to such a degree of weirdness that wasn't supposed to be super undercut. I mean, clearly it is because the theatrical was under 2 hours and this one's supposed to be 4 hours long, which we'll get into. But all that mixed in with the thought of that, and then you finally also hear this whole accompaniment of fans that like, no, we actually do want to see your vision. I could get why he could be like a little reactionary. At the very least, it was only like one tweet.
It was one tweet, and I just didn't like the words, but I totally, like you said, Nathan, I understand the emotion behind it. Because the tweet said, like, it looks, I think Scott said, like, I don't see what's really different after he saw the trailer. Like, I don't think it looks that different from what I saw with the original movie. I think it's totally wrong. But
yeah, like,
at the same time, like, yes, this movie is not for grown-ups. But yeah, there's a ton.
Snyder's always been like running with like the mature
And
characters.
the first scene is like, what's it called? Darkseid. I'm like,
yeah,
Darkseid.
Okay. Obviously, like Darkseid isn't. He's such a comic booky character, but I think Snyder's just speaking in the sense of his own tone.
Totally, yeah, I totally understand that. But going into like all these new scenes, let's dive into this trailer as a whole.
And dude, what I would not have expected full close-up dark side to be the first shot.
Me too. I was like, wow,
yeah.
we're going there.
I
Full
was
on
like,
dark
did I
side.
cut wrong?
Oh,
And it's
man.
weird too because the whole aspect ratio is like super old TV boxed.
Is that how it's going to look like on the movie too? Or
I don't know if that was like an semblance of. Normally, like studios will post that format on the social media for
which is
people
so
to scroll.
stupid.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the YouTube is widescreen. I'm not sure.
No,
though.
I downloaded it from YouTube. It's the same aspect.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
the same.
YouTube is same aspect, which is
It's,
pretty
yeah,
weird.
it's all the same aspect. Every source, all the same. And
Put
I
it
don't
on Vimeo.
And I don't know if that's like in a semblance of like the normal screen like you would see here has been expanded, or if it's just like cut off from the sides. I'd have to actually like track back to probably the biggest one I could think of is like the Batman on top of the building shot from below, because we've seen that in trailer before, so I'd have to match that. But it's crazy to look at it like that. I mean, I would watch it that way, but at the same time, it feels odd.
Yeah. But going into the first shot of Darkseid is very fascinating because this takes place in the past. This is the same scene we got in the Justice League movie with, I'm forgetting now. The what was the original villain called?
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, yeah. But this time it's actually Darkseid, and he doesn't have his Omega Force yet. Like he has the thing on his chest, but he doesn't have the Omega Force, which is why he has like that one staff that he's wielding in the first shot of the trailer. Because if he had the Omega Force, he would kill all of them easily.
And there's a new character in here, and he probably is a villain. I don't know this character well, but there's a character named Obsidian, who is not Steppenwolf or Darkseid, but it was that alien in the cloak.
In the hood, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which
Reminds me of that guy from Infinity War.
Same role though, right? I think they both serve Darkseid.
Yeah, and while watching, I initially thought that was Steppenwolf because it looks kind of similar to the Justice League design, almost. I was watching back a Justice League clip, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is so dialed back.
Different.
Yeah.
But then you see Steppenwolf now, and he's like super like upgraded to the highest degree with so like shreddy spiked design. It's insane.
Yeah. It looks like so spiky and glass-like. I'm like, okay.
And it's crazy too because like they're not just like pinned on there; they're actually like moving and stuff. And like, oh,
yeah. On all the shots of the Ray Fisher stuff of the high school scene, we finally get to see that because we never really saw that, and especially the shot with the dad, right? Oh my god!
Yeah.
Again, I have not seen Zack Snyder's Watchmen, but it looks like he went out the exact same way you see Dr. Manhattan created. I think.
There's a shot where somebody gets disintegrated.
Yeah,
that's
Dr. Manhattan. It's the same dude who becomes Dr. Manhattan because I've seen that clip. So I don't know what might happen there.
No, his father's dead.
I don't. Sure.
Dead.
Okay. It's crazy to put a death in a trailer a year out, though.
I mean, it's pretty known, right?
It's kind of known in the movie, right? Like, didn't Cyborg say his dad died? What in the movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's with.
No way.
I'm pretty sure he's with Cyborg while he's like restructuring his layout of his.
Oh, you know what? You're kind of right, Nathan.
Yeah,
I remember that from the end of the movie.
I swore he died.
No,
that's why like every reaction I've seen, everybody's like, "Oh, he's dying!" Like,
no, they like retconned it in the. I'm pretty. Yeah,
probably. I mean,
yeah.
What? That's so weird. Cause I took it like, okay, they're showing his death. Okay, cool.
Isn't that weird how we're just like assuming that the original Justice League just like made these decisions, and then we're like realizing there's like way more.
I'm probably gonna see it come out now, and they had a bunch of reshoots, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't even see his dad again in Justice League until
the very end.
Like I think the last time you saw him was Flash saved him from Steppenwolf, and that was it. But
that's right.
Owen Wilson.
Great.
Wow.
Oh, you know what else is a cool shot is the so I guess we're going back to air bubbles in this movie, but the shot of like Trident and all that on the ground and just like the wreckage of all that on the
it seems like a bigger version of the Nightmare
of what we saw.
sequence.
Yes,
yeah, which is really awesome. Which goes into like the whole. We're going to see a longer version of the whole time travel flashback. Or not really flashback, it's just a whole.
All right, Nathan, what's your theory? Put it together for us.
All right, I have been waiting for this. It's funny, dude. It's been plaguing my mind this whole time. I keep rewatching this trailer, because like legitimately, I'm so hyped to see this because I've actually cared about the DCU throughout its whole inception. Like I went to go see Man of Steel in theaters and have kept up with every theatrical release. And I actually like care where this journey's going. Like I enjoyed BVS Ultimate Edition and stuff, all that.
It's okay.
I like, yeah, I like this interpretation vision. It's not the definitive, maybe, but it's fun. So watching the trailer back, I'm seeing a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, okay, so this is definitely going to be the interconnected. Like, I think you're definitely going to be doing time travel. I actually think you're going to pull an essence of an endgame in this film. I think you're going to. I think you're going to get up to the point where we have the resurrection of Superman, but and if you like remember the actual theatrical cut, the Justice League do fight Superman. I think we're not going to have the proper a semblance to save Superman's brain at that point, and I think all of hell is going to break loose. Like the whole factor of like why Darkseid is coming in the first place, I'm pretty sure was because the Kryptonian is now taken out. And now if he's going AWOL, and you may go down like some sort of injustice line, like
so they got to go back
with how Batman's vision was seeing Superman soldiers and stuff. I do think the dreams that Batman had in BVS is actually going to become the actual reality we're going to set in. And because you even see in the trailer as they're going through, it's the exact same shot with the Omega symbol on the ground and like the fire rain from the sky that he had in the vision. But now there's the whole Justice League memorial that's burned to the ground. Like the team was already like set, but now everything's crushed. So, and
that's fascinating.
And I was watching back too, the whole BVS scenes. I do think we're going to get to a post-apocalyptic thing in the future where they're going to have to create that chunky like Space Force type mask suit for Flash and send him back in time to warn Bruce. He's going to come in the wrong time where he's like most scared of Superman, but as we saw in BVS, but he's going to do it, and you're going to get the proper semblance of like the only person that's actually going to snap Superman back into reality is Lois Lane. Which I think you even get some sort of a semblance to in the trailer when she's like looking up, seeing Clark in the sky. That could also be a point where that's where he's first resurrected, because I'm pretty sure it was the exact same thing where he's just wearing the pants.
Yeah.
He's up in the sky, but also Lois is clearly very far away from that semblance. So if she doesn't make it there in time to snap him out of it, bad things could happen with that fight in the Justice League.
Yeah, and speaking of Superman's arc, I love that shot of where it's Lois and the mom in the cornfield, right? Yeah, I love that shot because we really think we got like an abbreviated version of just him and Amy Adams, right? It was like a really awkward scene.
Oh, and we got the horrible Martha and Amy Adams scene in the movie where she was like, what did she say to her? Like,
I don't even know.
It was really bad. It was like, oh, you got a hot for my son or something like that. Remember?
I don't know. There was
a very awkward line.
I haven't rewatched the movie.
Me neither.
I could not tell you.
There was like the whole like TV interview on TV, and it was weird and everything.
Yeah, like there was a scene between Martha and Amy in the movie where she said something inappropriate to her.
I think you're gonna get a better scene of that now because you like show her at her apartment. I think that would be like a much more better spot to flesh out. Throughout the whole trailer, multiple spots. The Superman suit, black the whole time. Great.
Which is great. It goes into that deleted BVS or Justice League scene of like him going to his Kryptonian ship and he sees like the black suit and everything.
And he's got that. I know from the accompaniment of that he's gonna eventually go visit Alfred and stuff, probably get to a sense where the team is at. Because I'm sure they're probably still gonna have the element where Clark's gonna go home first.
After he beats all the Justice League's butt.
And yeah, it's crazy. I do think we're gonna spend a good hefty chunk of the film just like heroes lost, Darkseid reigning, and you're gonna have to reset your timeline Endgame style.
Interesting. I don't think it's gonna be a big chunk. I think if we're talking about how this is gonna be 4 parts, I think this will be half of one part, if that. Like maybe like a 10 to 15 minute scene.
I don't know. I feel like at least 1 hour could be devoted to it. Because just
I can't see that.
Because just think, I don't think they're gonna like recreate even if you have like newer scenes with Flash and Cyborg and everybody. I don't think you're going to be able to fill out a whole another 2 hours on top of stuff we already had, plus reinterjecting new scenes that weren't the reshoots that Joss did, which is even more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, to that point, it's crazy that this is officially confirmed to be 4 definitive hours, and it's great that Zach also said a couple things. He said, "There, you can either watch it in a full 4-hour cut, or you can watch it in the 4-episode format." And they're also looking to not just do it on HBO Max, but they're looking at other distribution, which I don't know if that means like other streaming formats, or maybe they could try to do limited theatrical events around the country.
It's
I would think it's
fascinating.
probably going to be a limited collector's physical disc, which I would think would be what they would go for, because I don't think
would be
Warner
nice.
Brothers would give them the theatrical run.
I don't think a long. I think maybe like a select 1-2 day max around.
Yeah, maybe.
4 hours in a theater, Jesus.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, they've held extended Return of the King screenings before. That's 4 hours. So
you're not wrong.
But what was I going to say? Oh, so this is going to be 4 parts. Do you think they're all going to drop 4 parts in one night? If he's saying like you can do a movie or do a 4 parts thing, if he's giving you that option,
I think it drops all at once.
I hope so.
I think after all of this, can you imagine it like tune in next week, next Friday, part 2 of the Snyder cut. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be fun to what's
yeah.
this new set release stuff like weekly, and it would get the buzz going. But
well, the first 3 parts are one day, then you have to wait a week for the next. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. No, I don't know, because I doubt they would be able to like edit the flow of this film to like specifically chunk it like 1 hour each. I mean, granted, it probably won't be. It would probably be like 57 minutes, hour 6, stuff like that. Because I know like I still need to watch the second episode of Lovecraft Country, but it's slightly over an hour. The first episode was like hour 10.
Yeah, hour and 6 minutes for the second episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting, and in like regards to continuing the plot once we fix it, I think we'll probably get the same semblance of taking down Steppenwolf. You can even get a shot of Black Suit Superman punching him, which is great.
Yeah, that shot looks super cool.
I'm very curious about that fight, though. I mentioned this last week. Like, is it going to be just a simple he beats up Steppenwolf and they hurrah? Like,
I don't know.
I didn't really like that in the final cut because it's all predictable. It's like, okay,
right. He swoops in, and it's very just like.
And mainly Superman himself took him down. So actually, no, it was literally his parademons took him down. So I think what you're gonna do is probably have. That was another thing, is like the fact that the parademons are swarming in BVS before we've even met them in Justice League. Fuels my theory, but anyway, I think you're probably gonna get more team dynamic beatdown on Steppenwolf himself, to actually like get the sense of coming together. As the OG marketing would have.
Come together right now.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to go that way. I think you're going to get a semblance of team dynamic. Like, I love that they all like toward the end of the trailer are lined up in the shot together, in just like the proper color scheme they were going to go with, which in the context of like looking back at old marketing flows so much better going from like the dark blue night to like the sunrise as opposed to red skies to orange sky.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of United, is Green Lantern in this? Do we know?
I think they'll still have the flashback scene.
A flashback with the decade or the 1,000-year ago Green Lantern.
Okay.
But also the ending, I think.
You may get the semblance of further where the ring goes.
Because there's 2 rumors. Like the one where like this one of the Jet people, like there's rumors that they're going to dive into, because there was, I think, an actor that was playing Green Lantern.
Right. Because I remember that was like, oh, this big secret. Someone played him, but nobody knows who.
Nobody knows who.
Is the Green Lantern series supposed to be on HBO Max?
Yes, but it's not supposed to be in the Justice League.
Not in the Snyder universe.
Not in the DCEU.
Right.
But there was like when Kevin Smith was talking about the Justice League being like a 3-part. Remember, there was supposed to be a 3-part thing for Justice League.
Yeah,
he said the original was going to be the Justice League come down from Earth. There's 2 of them, 2 alien ones, come to Earth, and they talk to Batman saying like, we're here to help because Darkseid's coming, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Granted, things got changed around. There's a whole Snyder cut now.
Yeah,
no idea what's going to happen.
Even to that point, something like that could still happen because we know Martian Manhunter is confirmed for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that could become an element in the Apocalypse setting until we have to fix it. And I think the time travel fix is what's going to be the ultimate closure for the ability for the film. I think the whole ending of leaving the door open is going to be rewritten to structure together, which I think is totally possible now that Zach has a full 4 hours to do this story.
Yeah, I think it has to end in a similar vein to how the Whedon Justice League ended. Like they have to end in.
Like they're all on their own separate paths, but
yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
the world is built right, and
the
I think
world
you'll
is
get
good.
better. Like I don't think you'll just have like, oh yeah, Flash is running in Star City. No, like you probably have like, yeah, he's running because he's also in this set area with Iris and stuff. You're gonna have more stuff with Victor, which would be great. Yeah, it should be fun. I can't remember what happened with Diana in the film. I don't know where her story furthered. I don't know if she stuck around with Bruce or not.
I think
I don't
just in
remember
that final shot where he's like talking to Alfred and Bruce, or Alfred, Henry Cavill, and Gal. They're all like, "We can rebuild the Hall of Justice or make it into I was thinking a Justice League."
And
I'm excited to get more Jeremy Irons and
and to that point, it actually
and Gordon.
It's a true. It actually is a really good ending. The theatrical cut of just like with everybody. But it was especially good because like virally going around, like somebody had the cam footage, but they edited like I don't think there was any proper music to it, but they put the Man of Steel theme with it, and it was like melded so beautifully together. So if they did just do that again, I would be down. Just as long as we can get the proper closure done. I don't think we're gonna again follow the Russian family or anything. All the reshooted stuff isn't gonna be in there. But yeah, it should be fun, and I'm intrigued to see. And going back to the whole semblance of the Flash film, I think this is where Barry's going to get his first semblance of like going through the time stuff. And obviously, he's going to mess up because if he's going to be in the wrong time, warning Bruce, I think he'll pick up on that and be like, okay, so what did I do wrong? And now that I know the kind of sense of layout of where things go, because he has his own like mini lab set up anyway. And now he has a connection with Bruce. He can probably be like, okay, where can I pinpoint these places to go and save my mom? And also appeal to Bruce's sense of morality with the fact that he lost his parents, can't do anything about it, and it plagues his life. But now
we get Iris West too in this movie. Let's go.
That was awesome. We get the whole window scene and the whole truck. And
this shot has been haunting me for like for like 3 years.
I don't know why it keeps sticking out to me every time I see the shot, but I notice when he saves Iris, he's barefoot. And I don't know why. I don't know if he's like burning through his shoes or something.
I think that's exactly it.
Funny.
He has his own customized suit. That's why. So
yeah,
should be fun. Dude, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this. And it's crazy because I feel like we got a lot in this. Just with the fact you see Victor's dad disintegrate and you see Darkseid from the get go. It's like I feel like we're seeing so much already, but we're like over like a year out still, and it's 4 hours. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited, man. So I can't wait. I think it's going to be so fun. Moving forward, they followed up immediately with the Black Adam panel with The Rock.
Yes, I love this panel.
I love, like, we're only primarily working off of concept art, but it's concept art, first off, done by Boss Logic, which is great. Mm-hmm. But also, it was all accompanied together to make it its own, like, 2D animated type trailer.
Voiceover, yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, The Rock's voiceover was great.
Yeah, the what do you say? Like the slaves wanted a hero. Unfortunately, they got me. I'm like, oh, okay.
His own sense
He's so ready for this role. Like
he's been rooming for this role for like a decade.
2013, man.
2013. That's freaking
7
crazy.
years.
I'm pretty sure. Dude, I'm pretty sure The Rock casting was announced back in 2013, prior to even Batman versus Superman.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, that's insane. That's crazy to even think, like, they went Black Adam before Batman in the announcement. But
it was weird.
Wow. And granted, you just stepped off of Nolan's Rises, so I get it, but wow, man.
But yeah, I love The Rock's passion throughout this whole entire panel here. Like, you can tell he was super passionate, super motivated to get this character right. For the audience and for himself.
Yeah, man, he was answering fan questions like in the vein of like his own character, which is so good. And you even got like a whole nother semblance of a second trailer where he was like announcing his conflict with the JSA.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's
like,
so fascinating.
so many people in the lineup, especially Dr. Fate, which was very
Dr. Fate, Hawkman,
right.
Cyclone, and Atom Smasher.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, like for this movie, the premise seems to be like, of course, he's a slave from 5,000 years ago during ancient history times. He wants to rebel, of course, against the masters. And this is where magic was super open, like super people knew about magic. So of course he gets gifted the Shazam powers, but also to defeat like his enemies, he unleashes the 7 deadly sins, which was kind of different. But they kind of tease that in the Shazam movie where they're like, our last user unleashed the 7 deadly sins. So he unleashes the 7 deadly sins, and then he gets captured. And there's this shot where The Rock is talking about like how he was captured, and he shows up like this little purple crystal. There's a shot of it. I couldn't find it in time for the podcast, but I think he gets imprisoned in that little purple crystal. But then 5,000 years later, like Power Rangers, he is free. And then there's a shot where he's like killing all these like military people. So I think like in the Middle East, he like takes over like this present day Kahndaq. That's the island. That's the area where it's from. And then that's, I think, where the JSA comes in. Because they're like, okay, The Rock has somehow taken over this whole Middle Eastern country.
The Rock.
Black Adam, I mean.
The Rock himself.
The Rock himself, yeah. Has taken over this whole Middle Eastern country, so then the JSA have to come in and save the day. And the JSA here, Dr. Fate and Hawkman, I think those two in particular are going to be the two main characters that have lived in the time of where Black Adam originally was from 5,000 years ago. Because they're both kind of immortal. I think Hawkman, he can what's it called? It's not regenerate, but his life, his essence, like continues on. I forget the exact term for it.
Okay, it's like a reincarnation.
Reincarnation.
He is a Horcrux.
Yeah,
confirmed.
Hawkman gets reincarnated. Whenever a Hawkman dies, another one's reincarnated.
I'm excited because I don't really know anything about these characters. I'm excited to like this to be like an entry point for me of like, oh wow, like I didn't know these characters exist in this kind of surrounding thing of, you know, the main Black Adam character. But I'm just excited this movie is finally happening. Who's directing again? It's the
John
Jamie Lee
or Jaime Collet-Serra.
Yeah, who did
Shallows. He's doing Jungle Cruise,
and now this.
Shallows is really good, guys. Watch Shallows with Blake Lively.
Yeah, no, I've seen Shallows. It's pretty good.
You seem so enthusiastic. What is that?
I've heard the song by Bradley Cooper.
Oh, wow.
Far from the shell. Oh my god, I need to like, cut that into the climax of
Black Adam. But also they had Noah Centineo confirmed as the Adam.
I can't believe that. That's crazy.
Which is pretty nice. He talked about his character. He was talking about how he was new to the superhero kind of thing, both in out of character in terms of Noah Centineo, but also in character too with Atom Smasher, which I think he's a new addition to the JSA in present day.
Wasn't he originally rumored to be the villain?
I thought so. And technically they are the villains of the movie, right? Because these are
Black Adam, yeah.
They're all against Black Adam from taking over like this whole dictatorship thing going on.
And that was interesting too, because The Rock was even specifying like you can view Black Adam as both a hero, anti-hero, and villain.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So yeah, the JSA are going against him. And even in the concept art, we see the JSA fighting like those military people. So maybe the Black Adam gets the military under his control, under his role, after he kills like the leaders of this foreign country. Yeah.
I think they even showed the one of the concept arts was him fighting the original Shazam that we saw Djimon Hounsou play. Yeah,
which is I hope we get a flashback with that fight because that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
And speaking of,
I'm hoping to see the further progression to that into the Shazam sequel.
I agree.
But yeah.
So I think towards the end, like when he was getting questions from the audience, they asked him like, "What Justice League members would you want to see in your future, like appearances or movies?" And he names Gal Gadot, and he's like, "Not because of Gal, not because she's beautiful or anything, but we have similar power sets, magic, and all that stuff." Yeah. Which is cool. But also he really he dives into the Superman thing, which he's been teasing forever now.
I mean, it's got to happen, right?
It's got to happen, right?
Dude, I know like Black Adam is like super powerful. So Black Adam versus Superman would be.
Which is also it's an animated movie. Black Adam versus Superman is an animated movie.
Which was
Watch
also
it.
like
Really cool.
I think the actual casting announcement of The Rock was him like chilling next to Henry Cavill on Instagram.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
They have the same marketing, not marketing. They have the same agent. So that's
manager, agent. But I imagine just like a fight like Fast Five, where it's like, it's just like two absolute powerhouses, just like throwing each other through buildings, just like.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And then they just like go up into space and they're just like chilling for a second. Like, this guy's kind of meeting my match here.
Right?
That'd be awesome. But he also
could actually help knock Black Adam down a peg to get to more of a relatable sense, I guess, to eventually get to the Shazam-esque.
Yeah, but he also teased like Batman. What's the name? Batman, Aquaman. Like I'm coming for you guys too.
I mean,
Cyborg.
Possible.
I mean, Black Adam versus the Justice League. I'd also.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah,
Justice League. I think they could do a sequel, Justice League 2 down the line. Whenever they do that, that could be Black Adam versus Justice League, which would be a freaking like it's just like the first Avengers, where Loki was the main villain, but he came from Thor.
Absolutely.
And Shazam has already talked about. Zachary Levi has already talked about wanting to join the Justice League in a future film. So, I could totally see that happening.
And that's such fun dynamics too. And you see this in like a lot of the animated shows too, like especially like from Flash, when it's just like the comedic dynamic bouncing off of the serious dynamics for like say like Batman. But which we already are kind of getting in Justice League anyway. But like the stuff, even though the characters have such a dynamic differences, they all have accompaniment of power to fight off for the greater good, which is great. And yeah, dude, the thought of Black Adam, if he became like so powerful that like he's a Justice League threat, and to get Shazam in on the perspective of like working from the same similar magic too,
dude, it writes itself. Come on,
it does.
Justice League 2, directed by Joss Whedon. Woohoo!
No,
so good. And I think that may even like tie into the semblance of like the small info we got from the Shazam panel, which was the title sequel, which was what was
Fury of the Gods?
Exactly. Yeah. 3D amazing. I think the gods they're talking about are the gods they get their powers from. Like Shazam comes from like Shazam, 6 different gods.
I'm so excited for the sequel to Shazam. You know what? That movie was so good. That was one of the best superhero movies of 2019.
Was it just last year, right? It had to be.
Yeah. It was April. Yeah, April 2019. Same year, same month as Chicago Celebration.
Where I could have a projector malfunction, and I have audience recording of the groans.
Oof, that sucks.
That's funny.
It was my third viewing anyway. It's fine. I will say, dude, every time I bring it back to I think it was a deleted scene still, but the accompaniment of like the new layer and like the full Shazam team sitting, all 6 of them, but there's still a 7th chair open.
Awesome.
Eventually, if Black Adam were to join, that'd be cool. I'd like to see the progression from, again, like Loki, from villain to hero.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, and it's funny because if it's 5,000 years ago, I imagine Black Adam comes from the era of different rulers and kings and hierarchies and stuff. So to knock him down to like a relatable peg of like in our own existence of not just like a democratic living, but also just a lot more relaxed lifestyle that isn't like your lineage isn't just like off of hierarchies and everything.
And lastly, it seems like everything's going smooth in terms of their production, given what we saw from DC Fandome. So it still has that release date of December 2021. And currently, right now, there's no other big movie coming out around that time besides Sherlock Holmes 3, which I'm sure is going to be delayed. This can be a very big hit. I'm sensing like an Aquaman level hype for this movie.
For Black Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially since you do have The Rock as the main star, and it's not just. It's funny because like we would always joke like The Rock is basically a superhero at this point, just like with all of his like outlandish action. But now he'll actually really be a super powered being for real.
Do you think we'll get like a camera test of The Rock? Like I'm so excited.
We have to. I want it so badly.
I mean, if you can get that random tweet of just back when Ben Affleck was working behind the camera and of Deathstroke. Which,
yes,
granted, I don't think is going anywhere now. But I think you can get something for Black Adam.
That was a cool camera test
for sure.
It was really cool. Yeah, dude, I'm super excited for it. I don't think I have too much more I can add to it. Just that I'm hyped.
Me neither. I think there's before we get to Batman. Is that going to be next for you, Nathan?
Yeah,
there was Aquaman, but there wasn't really anything. James Wan's just like
I was going to mention Aquaman.
The only thing we actually got, and that's what I was going to touch on, like for like is like Aquaman. Nothing was really announced except for the fact that King Orm will return for the sequel,
which we knew.
Wilson.
It had to be.
Sure.
And he said it's going to be more serious, so you know what that means, guys.
No Pitbull.
Ocean to ocean.
Pitbull.
Who do we replace Pitbull with? That's serious, but still.
Usher.
DJ got us falling in love.
Dude, I'm just thinking about that scene in Hustlers where Usher himself.
Yes.
Oh my god, I forgot.
It's like they're playing this song and everything. I'm just like, what is happening?
It's so weird. Did they play in the club or something? It was really weird.
Yeah.
Usher. Like more serious than Pitbull. Like made a cameo or stuff.
It's funny.
Oh man.
I mean, granted, I would just like for Aquaman to give me a new Mera casting. But
it's not going to happen.
I know, dude. As soon as I saw her, I think I'm the only one in any video that was made about the Snyder Cut trailer. I was the only one who saw Amber Heard on screen for a second. I was like, oh well.
I'm telling you,
I've heard a lot of problematic casting people that just.
I think I was like, it was funny.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because I think I watched Aquaman like fade into the water, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like it cut to Mera, and I was like, that's less so.
Yeah, that's less cool. Oh man,
but yeah.
Awkward. But let's get into the best part of the night.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes, as we get to the end of DC Fandome, we did get to dive into the Titans panel. No.
Get out.
Oh man,
I had to remember what did come right before it was the Titans panel.
Yikes!
I haven't seen
more Red Hood. I haven't watched it either. No.
Can we just preface this that Matt Reeves comes out here looking ripped off the page from a Batman comic?
Dude, he's
got the mustache.
The dude was rapid fire with info. I swear to God, it was
crazy.
He had not only did he have so much fan info regarding Batman to show like, yeah, he definitely understands this character, but it was also like he's so rapid fire because he knows he doesn't have enough time, but he's gonna get it.
I feel like they cut it down. Like I feel like there's more of him.
It's super edited for sure. The way like because it's funny too, because I also heard like a criticism from Fandome that like a lot of the questions were kind of like weak generic fan stuff, but when you did hit the Batman, they were all like super deep,
super interesting. Yeah,
it was like these are questions. Like no fan can think of the psychology of those.
Yeah. the fans being like the producers in the background, like asking the question.
Yeah, and then we got like Chinatown inspiration and like Taxi Driver 70s kind of.
Which is the second mention of a 1970s. Like we got it for Suicide Squad, and now we get it for Batman. I'm like,
it's the second mention. It's weird because it's also the second mention of Taxi Driver since Joker, and it's just like, oh
yeah. The Joker also mentioned 1970s too, so
right, but
very popular decade.
Pretty much is just that. It's not really an I feel like it's literally that. You know, if that
because the Batman is set in modern day. The only like real company I could pick up on that was like when the dude crashes into the memorial service, he has like a smartphone taped to his hand.
Yeah, it looked like it didn't look exactly like modern day. It looked like something from
it looked different altogether because it's Gotham. It's a new Gotham.
Yeah, it reminded me of the OG animated series where you couldn't really tell what era it was in, but it just looked
makes
like
it timeless.
Exactly, which makes it timeless, which is really cool.
Can we just? Oh my god, this trailer!
Let's start from the get-go. Let's start.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
First off, the accompaniment of just the panel itself with Matt Reeves. First off, you got a quick intro from Robert Pattinson.
In his closet.
yeah, it was literally Pattinson ASMR.
I don't know what's going on.
yeah, he was like, I think Matt Reeves will be there. He never was around. It was great to see him appear, which was awesome. And then Matt Reeves is going into everything. He was talking about how great of an actor Pattinson is. Just I think he said he first saw him in Lost City as the. Which,
I love that reference.
James Gray shout out.
James Gray.
As soon as I heard that, I thought back to last week's episode, and I was just like, they're gonna hear this.
Yes, I was so
Yeah.
hyped. I was like, James Gray, yes.
I was so excited. And the fact that everything this man says, he's like, Robert's a great actor, but he just has got the soul for Batman or Bruce. I'm like, oh my God, he's got the soul, people.
Dude, it's so good. I love that he dives into the info that this is only the second year of Batman. He
Year
goes out
two.
every night looking for trouble, and his like suit's all dinged up. You're gonna see that. He's
And all
not
the villains are not fully fleshed out, which is the big
yeah,
thing.
no, but yeah, like Catwoman's not Catwoman yet. He's not Penguin yet. Oswald.
Not the Riddler.
This is
yeah.
the first.
Riddler.
This is the first rise up of the Riddler that we see in the trailer for this world, which
So
is cool. There's so much cool stuff we're gonna get into with the trailer. We're gonna go shot by shot, basically, because it's dense enough. The fact that it's only 25% of the film that we got to see,
But it's so
Mind-boggling.
tense.
and I think one of like the best things I heard was the fact that Gotham doesn't view Batman as the symbol of hope yet because it's so early on. They're actually like legitimately frightened of this.
And
legend.
it's exactly in that shot of Gordon walking through the police. And of course, you know exactly who's behind him.
Yeah, dude.
Walking into the crime scene. And all the people, if you actually rewatch that shot,
No, yeah, they're all staring.
That in mind, they're all just staring.
I never realized that.
No, yeah,
Oh,
you're literally in
it's all
you're
staring
in
at
Batman's
Wait a
POV.
second. What?
Yeah, it's
Batman's point of view, and
POV.
everyone's staring at him.
Bro, let me
Pull
watch-
that shot up
let
right
me
now.
watch
It's
this trailer
crazy.
right now, real quick.
It's literally the first couple shots, man. They're all looking at him, man. And why wouldn't they? Because I think it's such bewilderment. Like same with like when you see it in the trailer, Batman for the first time, he's well lit by this building. It throws you off because this isn't a bat in the shadows.
And speaking of which, do you think they're going with an iteration that Gordon already knows his identity?
I don't think so.
I don't.
Or
I hope
not yet?
Honestly,
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I was thrown off at the fact that he's already working with the police.
Right.
Me too. That really shocked me because do we see that a lot in Nolan's films?
I mean,
maybe
maybe he's just now brought on because, like, again, every cop staring at him is just like, what the hell is going on? And maybe they're also
I'm
looking
looking
at
at you. That's crazy.
maybe also the cops are looking at him like that because they address that there's a lot of corrupt cops in Gotham, and Batman's clearly screwing that up. To that point as well, it's great that Matt Reeves is actually involved and is going to touch on the Gotham PD series. The fact that that's
Yes.
I think that's going to be set like
That's
year.
year
of Batman.
one. Yeah, that's year one of Batman.
He's talking about the main thing he talks about, and it's very evident in this trailer, like going out the corruption of Gotham. I love that, especially after reading Long Halloween. Like it's just there's so much stuff in Long, especially now I'm thinking about the Gordon relationship because he trusts Gordon in Long Halloween. They're essentially working through this case, and I think it's going to be a similar dynamic, at least at first in this movie, of working through these murders because they're at a loss and they can't figure out who it is. And so it's definitely going to be like interesting to see that. And just, oh my God, I love just the cinematography of this and the score. Oh my God. It was just like
beautiful.
This is a trailer.
Doing great.
But in terms of corruption, like Nathan, you said, like Batman might be doing something against the police. I don't think he's going to be doing enough because, like in the trailers, it looks like he's fighting common criminals, which is good.
Right.
But the Riddler's telling him like, "You're connected to this. There's more that you need to be doing."
Which I think we'll probably dive into like the whole
Yeah.
hierarchy of the Waynes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which
Yep.
kind of suspects me to get another Joker connection, which I'm not looking for, but
I hope there has to be a Joker in this.
Eventually,
universe.
I mean,
there eventually
he's
will
going to show up in this trilogy, right? I mean, there's no doubt.
honestly, I think
Batman 3.
you save Joker till the end of the trilogy.
I think so too.
That would be great. No, but like whenever I did speak to that though, I primarily mean like Joaquin's Joker film.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know if they're actually going to do that. I'm not even like looking or needing that. I mean, I made a fun like trailer edit the other day, but like again, I don't need it. There's a lot of interesting stuff, but yeah, let's actually like run through the trailer. Like just to start off, you get the duct tape logos, which I was like, am I lagging? But
Yeah, you guys like sing to the sound. It's like,
yeah, I didn't pick up till the second logo. I was like, oh no, my recording is gonna die. But then, I was like, okay, we're cool. And it's crazy because I didn't really pick up that was even Riddler until like way too late.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Because
until I started
he
the
doesn't look
costume design and the green,
Yeah,
I started pulling it together later.
yeah, like at best, as soon as I start hearing him rhyming and I see the question marks at the end, I'm like, okay, cool. But like when you first see him, he's
Okay, cool.
I mean, I'm just trying to like
Who
progress.
could that be? That penguin? What?
No. I knew who Penguin was. I saw him.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
What I initially thought, because I see him in that mask, the Riddler, and I'm like, my first thought is like, is that Hush? But then I also like did digging and I realized, oh yeah, in the comics they actually do have Riddler and Hush have a connected tie, and I think that even appears in Long Halloween, maybe.
Not really.
It's somewhere along the line. I think it is.
There's only that one
in the Hush storyline.
Exactly. There's only that one connection in the Hush storyline. Everywhere else, Riddler's his own guy.
Yeah, and I think initially like Hush was his own guy too until they made it a Riddler connection.
Yeah,
but
which
now I
most
think
authors don't really reference when they're talking about Riddler.
Yeah, which now I think they could be doing a potential combination of it. I don't know.
Possibly.
But it's interesting to see the pan out of it because you just start off and he's like duct taping a dude's face. I don't even know if he's alive or not. It's scary.
I doubt it.
And it just says no more lies, and it's like Riddler is out to expose, man. He's coming to cancel all of Gotham. No, but seriously, it's It looks so intriguing, and then when you do get the investigative crime scene, which is probably the exact same spot we opened with Riddler, now that I think about it, because you have like all the accompaniments of like the lies on newspapers written, and you get that little birthday card, which not only has a cartoon owl on it, but it has logos from the Courts of Owls labeled inside, which is actually the answer to the riddle that's written in there.
It's very fascinating. What does a liar do when he's dead?
He lies.
He lies still.
So,
like,
double meaning.
So cool.
Riddles are the best.
I love it. Like
riddles, man.
I wonder how many riddles he's gonna put in this trailer just so like fans can automatically find it out before the movie comes out.
And that was so cool too, because like if you're starting out as a new Batman, you're just like, what are these random logos? But the fact that fans can actually track down and decipher these to actually get the riddle answer
within minutes too. People pull it up and they're just like, I got you, and they're like,
it's like literally you're being the Batman in real life. It's so fun.
Yeah, and this totally sets up Detective Story.
Yes.
7 like Batman, where we're just going around.
There's no better villain to pull out the detective side than the Riddler, of just trying to crack all these puzzles. I mean, it's so great. But it's not just as simple as like Riddler sets up like, here's this question, a trap. No, he's like he has an interconnected web of a series to do.
Yeah,
and I gotta say, I love how Jeffrey Wright is cast as Detective Gordon, because his delivery of the lines, like just like you and I, this way he's reading the riddles. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy it's freaking Jeffrey Wright.
And he's like, does this mean anything to you? Oh,
it's great because he not only like looks like Gordon, but it's his voice too, and it's just like
totally sells it.
You guys think we're gonna see real quick, like his daughter or anything, like a little Barbara Gordon piece? Maybe. I never really thought about it.
I do think it's possible because especially just having read Long Halloween.
It's also that's true. I mean, does Long Halloween take place in Batman's early years as well?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so.
pretty early.
Yeah,
pretty early.
Yeah, because I was just like, I didn't know what the time frame might be in that regard, but yeah. But also Barbara has to grow into becoming Batgirl. So yeah.
Yeah.
In Long Halloween, she's like a toddler, I believe.
Okay.
So.
But I love this whole like crime scene 7 thing going on. It's so cool. Like 7, my favorite movie of all time, and just that initial crime scene in 7 when they're walking in, they see this huge like gluttony.
Yeah, it's just like this moody atmosphere.
Yeah,
everything is just so vividly shot. It's just I love the shot of him. Like by the time we get to the end of it, he's like grappling up, and they did it like practical, where it's like the camera's going up on a crane with. I don't even know how they did it, but it's like going up as he's grappling up. Dude, so many cool shots.
It's so good. And it's great because you just get to the like the first unveiling of Pattinson as the Batman. It's not the test footage anymore. It's the actual like in like full bright light as well. He's not in the shadows. He's just like he's in the crime scene, well lit, walking. It was jarring for a second.
Yeah, it looks like he can like function in it because most bat suits, like you get the notorious Keaton one where you could hardly move a muscle.
And the fact that Reeves was going into, like, they spent a year designing the suit alone so that it could function to like where you can turn your head, because literally no Batman suit could turn its head until The Dark Knight. Like even Batman Begins, Christian Bale was stuck.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Very funny.
And even then I feel like Affleck might have been a little limited, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then you get to this one. Yeah, there is so much like built-in mobility and texture. It really like it does look like the Arkham suit a lot. It's a great suit. I'm sure everybody's already talking about it by now. But it was great to see him, and I love the riddles that are just like out and open, just like written on like again like little cards, like multiple instances. Like you get to like later when he's in the memorial service, and he saves the dude from the speeding car that then a dude stumbles out of, and he's got like this.
Yeah, this whole thing on his chest
for Batman.
Saved on to written, and it's like, and I don't know what his accompaniment. Clearly, he's a hostage. I'm pretty sure because he's just like, stuck with like whatever phone stuck to his hand. He doesn't know what's going on. Just like, please save me. He's duct taped to the mouth. It's insane. And Bruce is just kind of like stuck there, like looking because he can't give away his identity, but obviously it's for him.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
Before that, we also get a shot of like a lot of the press, and we see like this old white guy. I think that's going to be like commissioner.
Loeb.
Yeah, I don't think we got to see John Turturro as Falcone yet.
No, I don't think we.
No, we haven't. No,
we did. Like listening back to it though, you get the voiceover. You're becoming quite a celebrity. Why is he writing to you? That's Andy Serkis' Alfred.
Yes.
Talking.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. But it's interesting that we haven't seen Falcone yet because I won't say it because Nathan hasn't read the comic, but a lot of the Riddler stuff in Long Halloween is tied to some Falcone connections, which I'm not sure if he's going to adapt literally, of going through it. I have a feeling he's going to make his own kind of twists and turns through it, which I'm all for it.
I agree.
But it's just so interesting.
They probably haven't filmed John Turturro yet.
Yeah, no, definitely they haven't filmed them yet. They're like,
but also what I'm excited for, they haven't filmed, or they probably have, but we didn't see in the trailer the whole DA storyline because that has to go into Riddler's whole crusade here, where he's saying like people are lying. There's tons of cases on the wall where it says no more lies, and it says like such and such has been caught. The DA they got for this movie is played by Peter Skarsgård, and I remember earlier in the year, maybe whenever he got cast, there was a whole article saying how he's a corrupt DA agent. And I think that goes into how, like, if he's corrupt, the DA is corrupt, then that leads into why the Riddler's doing everything he can. Maybe somebody close to him got thrown in jail for the wrong reasons or something like that. So all of this corrupt stuff is starting to pop up, and I'm very excited to see just the whole politics side of that, because we don't really see that in Batman a lot. Like, the DA is corrupt, the commissioner is probably corrupt. So,
and especially that shot in the actual interrogation room, it looks like where they're holding Batman back.
Yeah, and that was interesting because
that was fascinating.
Initially, like people were like tweeting out like, "Oh my god, cops are attacking Batman," but no, like literally, Batman is about to jump the cops themselves, and Gordon has to hold him back.
Home and back.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe he knows of corruption of one of the whoever he's talking to in that scene is probably they're probably being passive aggressive with each other and just breaks.
Yeah,
which is it's so well done, and there's a lot of it starts getting quick in the pace, like a lot of quick shots. You get to see right after memorial service, Selena Kyle breaking into a vault.
Oh yes,
looks so cool. I like that. It's just a burglar mask, but it has the flaps enough for the ears.
Yeah. I love it. I love again how she's not fully Catwoman.
Very subtle,
very subtle. She's like a normal thief.
I'm so mad. People are. I called out someone today. Like somebody was trashing the Catwoman suit, and I'm like, she's not Catwoman yet, man.
It's not even this suit. Yeah, exactly. Like it's a thief outfit. Come on now, jeez.
Yeah, it reminded me of like literally in year one or whatever, the comic. She literally is just like when she decides, and all of a sudden she just throws this stuff together, and it's like very very rough, very oh my god, it's just amazing. Yeah.
I love how Carson's a huge
I do it. The fact that I can like cite stuff now is so exciting.
Welcome to the club.
Nerd.
I know.
Welcome. Yeah, dude, it's exciting. I love the casting of Zoe Kravitz. I'm excited to see her as Catwoman. really am hoping they through the trilogy develop Bruce and Selina's relationship, because
They
again,
have to, right? Come on.
Yeah.
dude, all throughout the comic, I was like throwing at Carson, like, look at this man, there's a wedding, it's great. Like,
No, and then yesterday
better
I'm
not
sending all
die in
these
this
frames
trilogy.
from Long Halloween of just like their tension and stuff. I'm like, okay, they have to. There's no way. It's
so
it's
good.
crucial.
and I like what they did in Dark Knight Rises, like for sure, but like I want that developed immensely throughout the trilogy.
Yeah, more literally,
I
just
need
like
more, I need more cat and mouse, like cat and bat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even apparent right in that shot of them like dodging each other. You're just like, whoa, like,
Yeah,
what's going
literally,
on?
it's like, oh, you as well.
But just make out already. Come on.
dude, no, it's great
For
too.
real.
Because even like thinking back to Rises, I'm pretty sure at best she steals a necklace, but then also like double crosses him later, and that's primarily it. But like having them do more back and forth, like obviously Selena does illegal stuff, like she's a cat burglar.
Yeah.
And Batman's a justice dude, and they have like this back and forth, and it primarily comes down to Selena can still get away with stuff because Batman's on a bigger mission to track down stuff. He doesn't have time for petty robbery.
But again, also interesting in the comics, and at least the ones that he's been citing for his inspiration, she knows that he's Bruce because there's an instance where
in which one?
In Long Halloween, because remember she has to save him from Ivy, and so there's that whole thing, and plus she's like going around following him basically throughout when he's trying to investigate the killings, and she's following around, kind of snooping around, following his every move, and so I wonder how that's going to play in.
I think early theory. By the end of this first film, she finds out he's Bruce. She's the only one.
I think so too.
I also think Riddler could find out he's Bruce.
Which could be a bomb shock to the whole. It could be a riddle to solve. The identity of Bruce could be revealed through a certain way that Bruce messes up.
This is like the third time during this stream, like you guys have brought up something to Batman canon. I'm just like, I just saw this in Batman Forever.
Oh, geez.
Everything goes back.
No, but what's great is like when I looked back at Batman Forever, there's a lot of like great ideals and stuff. Obviously, it's like weighed down by kitty natures and stuff, but like there's a lot of like great setup designs that they just haven't been able to get to yet, like to like this extent, like they're about to do now.
Yeah.
So, like to the same extent, like, Nigma finds out who Batman is in Batman Forever, but he goes insane, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I think you can have actual ramifications here, so that could be good.
Yeah. I also I say Riddler could find out. Do you guys think Riddler could die by the end of this? I know it's another early theory, but
I don't want to get to the.
I want a fully
villain
formed Riddler by the end of the second movie.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
like put him in Arkham Asylum and make him go
for sure. Where like nobody will listen to him because it's Arkham and it's awful. But
that would be awesome.
Yeah, something like that would be ideal. And again, this is supposed to be like the startup of these characters. I don't want them to be gone so soon.
You're right. Yeah.
It's the same, and that's even though it was set in a more realistic setting, I hate that we had to do that with the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, Scarecrow survived throughout the trilogy, but Ra's al Ghul was taken out on the train. Joker is locked up in Arkham, but they have to write that because Heath unfortunately passed. And Bane, I'm pretty sure his mask gets damaged and gets.
Did he die in that movie?
Probably because he had his mask damage and he was already set to die anyway.
I haven't seen Rise in a long time.
Yeah, and forever.
Yeah,
seeing this trailer just makes me want to just like dive into everything. I mean, I've already been doing the comic stuff, but I want to rewatch all the movies now because there's just so much.
Oh man, but yeah. There's so much. What else do we? Oh yeah, I like the whole bike shot that we see a lot in the behind the scenes. It looks like
it's crazy.
My brain is cemetery, which is pretty dark.
It's funny though because my brain keeps autocorrecting to the falling in the video footage on the set where the dude falls down.
Oh,
like no.
Yeah, no. Someone tweeted that right after the trailer comes out, like their reaction, and it's just like.
No, but it's crazy though because back to that press conference, you get a shot of Bruce with like a scarf on his face. And because he still has the eye makeup on. I thought that was Penguin at first before we actually got to him. But no, that was Bruce. And I think he's just like listening in on like the media and like what's going on. Obviously, he's still like fresh to this game, so I doubt he's like constantly on rooftops, especially during daytime.
But yeah, he's fresh in the game, but he's still able to create that Batcave. Like he drives
Yeah.
past his cemetery, enters the Batcave.
Which is
And-
cool when you get to
Wow.
like also the idea of the Batmobile, because like even though it has like this giant like turbine engine on the back to like super speed, it still primarily looks like a normal car you could buy on the market,
Yes. Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, obviously like a very expensive billionaire's car, but
Yeah.
tricked
It's just
out.
got a little bit of flair to it, but not like it's not like, oh my god, overbearing Batmobile, which
Yeah,
I
it's
like.
not
totally.
it's not another.
It totally matches where he is as a character, and I love
Yeah.
the post title card sizzle of just it sitting there and him kind of it looks like an underdeveloped Batcave. It's like not an elaborate thing where you like come down in some elevator to and like secret passageway into. It's like very just raw, like the back of the garage.
I love it. It reminds me. I don't know if you guys like seen like the very early seasons of like CSI. It looks like that.
Oh my
like
god,
it's very
you're
like
totally right.
drab. Like I love it.
Dude, it's so good. But yeah, the trailer I think continues forward, and then you start seeing like Batman like at this. I think it's like a empty shipyard with like some sort of meets going on,
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
and it looks like Penguin's there too. Actually,
you
I
think
think
so?
I think to that. Yeah, because they have like quick cut shots, but I think
I thought it was a different location.
I think Penguin is actually there because then there's a scene later where like there's a shootout that he's involved in. Penguin.
With the thugs, the Penguin.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's with other
just a
people
quick
shooting
shot,
at somebody. He's shooting
I
with
We
thought there
don't
was
see
just
who he's
one
shooting
shot.
at, but yeah, they have little submachine guns and they're just like shooting.
I don't know if
Presumably that car chase where he's like, "Oh my god, this guy's crazy," is like right after that. It kind of looks like because it's raining. It's raining in both shots.
yeah, and there's also the Batmobiles like going through corners. It's actually
Yeah.
the Batmobile's being chased, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
I think he's being chased.
Oh, I see it now. You're right. He is
Or
shooting
shooting by
away from
somebody.
Batman. You're right. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's fascinating how that rolls out, and
Mhm.
we touched on Selena Kyle, and I watched this trailer so many times, but I feel like I'm missing a section before we get
Yeah,
to the.
I'm rewatching it. Like, seems to be like an explosion within the police station. Did we talk about that already?
I think it's the same location as the memorial.
Like, no, like the one where the guy comes out with the phone.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Later that it seems like a darker setting.
That's
but
what I'm
the
saying.
same place
That's
where-
what I think the memorial was.
Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, but I think that primarily takes because there's also Riddler's talking, and he's saying, if your justice,
Why do you lie?
Yeah, why? Or please do not lie.
Please do not lie.
What
Yeah.
is
I
the
love
price?
Paul
for
Dano's
your blind-
voiceover.
Oh, Dano for best supporting actor. Come
Dude,
on.
so good. And he's like, "What is the price for your blind eye?" And it's funny because no, what was funny is like I started looking up on Reddit and stuff because I'm like, "Is that a real riddle like to actually unlock?" But then everybody's like, "No, they're just talking about Batman because the corruption and like blind justice and everything." I'm like, "Oh my god, it's so good." But yeah, that primarily brings us to the semblance of the goons that have the face paint, which could tie into who's to say. I'm not entirely sure. Some people were like, "It's a Joker influence." Is it? I think it's fueled off of the not actual like people, but like the design of the mutant gang in the Dark Knight Returns. Just in terms of look, not from actual.
Yeah.
Just like these punks, but.
Yeah.
Then he's just like, who are you supposed to be? And I wasn't ready for the impact of the John Wick action.
Wow. Yeah,
Oh
same
my
here.
god, I
Because
literally
it's not just-
physically gasped.
It just what's crazy is it just keeps going because he does the beatdown for sure. And then it hits me like unsettled when he breaks the arm in frame and it doesn't cut and he's still going at it. And then he falls down and he hits him a couple more times.
That poor stunt actor.
It just you literally I've never felt more punched. Just like that second punch because he holds back and then one more time and then it looks
Yeah.
like and this other guy's crying.
No,
The other
yeah,
guy's
he's so emotional. He's like half his face paint's gone. And like, it's crazy, dude. I can't imagine how much that's gonna boom in IMAX in front
In
of
IMAX, dude, I'm so excited.
Oh my god, dude, that's gonna be insane.
Guys,
And
I
then-
hate to do this, but I gotta take off a little early because
Okay.
I have not gotten food yet, and I did not plan on going this long. And so
7 more minutes.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Alright.
But if you guys want to keep going, I never usually do this, but
Yeah, you're cool.
yeah, I gotta take off. But dude, I will be talking about Batman for literally years.
Carson,
I'm
where
so
can the good
excited for
people
this.
find you?
You guys can find me at the Film Carson on Twitter, talking about the Batman and Matt Reeves every single day. And of course, I'm seeing Tenet on Monday, so I cannot wait to talk Tenet with you guys on. Hopefully, we'll talk about on Cup of Tea. Hopefully, Evan, are you going to see it?
I might not be able to see the early access. No.
Okay, but for sure, Nathan and I will give our spoiler-free review next Wednesday. So yeah, can't wait for that.
And we'll give it immediately
but yeah,
on Twitter. So
exactly. So I'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out, man.
All right, see you later, guys.
see you.
But yeah, that when he breaks the guy's like arm, starts punching him in the face, a lot more than I expected. Because usually with these superhero things, you're like, okay, break his arm, punch in the face, like boom, I am vengeance, whatever. But he kept on going. I'm like, geez, it was insane.
Which is, yeah, like I think it's like 9 hits, maybe. So many. The fact that it doesn't cut until he finishes the punches stop, you hear it, and then you get the reaction of the crowd. And then when he actually speaks for the first time as Batman, he's just like, "I'm vengeance." But I like the Batman voice because it's not like trying to it really is taking us back, because it's not Batfleck with the voice modulator, it's not Bale with the super graveliness. It's just,
where's Rachel?
Where are the other drugs going? Which is funny, but
yeah, it just feels very Robert Pattinson-y. I can't describe it. It's very hard. But yeah.
It's a deep, troubled man.
Yeah.
Who's determined and angry and just trying to get answers.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Batman. Good job.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. At some point, like I know Carson was bringing up the Batcave. I forgot to mention while he's here, but like I just queued up like the red mist before the.
I could tell. Yeah.
So good. It's
so awesome.
Yeah. Then the trailer starts cutting, and that's when you get the first semblance of the Batmobile with the blue flame, which looked very nice.
Wow. Yeah, it seems, again, very 1990s animated series Batman with the whole back shot of it. You just see the blue flame come out. You're like, oh, yes. Like,
yeah, man.
The second half of this trailer is just straight chills.
Oh, it just keeps going and going, and it's crazy. And I think that was the last time you saw the Riddler, was before the beatdown in the trailer.
Yeah.
Until he does talk toward the end. But yeah, then you get like the rapid cut of all the things in the... I'm trying to think.
Yeah, this guy's crazy. Yeah,
this guy's crazy. I got the trailer pulled up because I was pulling shit.
Me too. I was going through the trailer as well. But then, yeah, it ends.
That's when you start getting the accompaniment, or it's like rolling through it, and like the Batmobile turns on, it's getting chased, or it looks like that actually could be the Batmobile itself going through, chasing everything.
That's what it looks
because
like.
It looks like the same model, and then he gets shot by a goon, but it just kind of. I mean, you can tell there's like an impact because he gets like knocked back a bit, but
yeah, you see the bullet like fly off.
Yeah, he's still unscathed, so bulletproof armor, which is good. And then,
again, it feels so visceral and real. I'm like, oh man,
it does, man, and just the lighting while he's from all the flashbangs from the guns. And this is interesting too. He's I think in this shot a goon shoots him. It looks like, but in the next shot while he's grappling upward, which is a phenomenal shot. I actually seen like he's passing by a bunch of policemen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so maybe like the classic thing happens where he's fighting all the criminals, but then the police show up after the fact, and then he has to kind of escape.
Maybe someone who's in custody he's trying to actually get answers out of, but he's going too far, and then a cop makes the move, a corrupt cop probably. And then it's interesting too because he's going up, and like I see the cops are firing at him, and then when he gets to like the higher level of the floor, there's just like normal people walking around, so he's probably just in like a normal district attorney place where like things were going normally before he screwed things up or somebody else did.
Yeah,
so it's like he must have just broken out.
Interesting. Yeah, this can be quite the political drama, which again we haven't seen before in the Batman movies. Makes me very excited.
And this then it gets like this guy's crazy, and then the final shot where he's just rising up in front of the goons, which could be like right after the beatdown he just did.
Which I think so too. Yeah.
Like I'm vengeance, and he stands up.
They all step back like, "Oh crap, this guy is pretty insane."
Yeah, and then you get the beautiful logo unveiling with the with the semblance of the bat ears, which is so gorgeous. And then you just see him in the Batcave, which now that I'm actually looking at it, I can see the Batmobile is propped up there next to the computer.
Oh, really?
It's a very small early Batcave.
Like again, it's like the early CSI stuff. Like it's very miniature. You can kind of see like how it is possible for somebody to create something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, it's
Batmobile
funny.
is there. Yeah.
it's funny seeing how like the Batcave's so laid back because it's not like super rocky walls even
Nope.
and it basically looks like a giant garage and that could just be a start out before he gets the actual cave, but like the only assemble of lights is on the actual Batmobile. He only has 2 monitors at his computer with a couple. It's a small desk, man. It's like really early start out. He's got basic lamps. I'm looking at this.
Like
But
you're
yeah,
rich, dude. What's going on here?
no, it's right.
It's
Maybe
very
he's like,
cheap.
he's a one-man army. Alfred can't help him move stuff, and yes, he doesn't know how to like get stuff moved under the radar yet. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm seeing him like I'm looking at this. I'm seeing Pattinson take off the cowl, and it does like drape down to the shoulders. Like now that I see it come off, which
Mm-hmm.
is beautiful, and it gets that beautiful line from Riddler. He says, "You're part of this too," and he's like, "How am I part of this?" He's like, "You'll see."
You'll see.
It's so good, and you just get that close up of uncertainty where I guess it looks like he's looking at something at the monitor. I don't know, but you see all that eye shadow. And it's that's Batman, dude. That's not Robert Pattinson. That's Bruce Wayne.
That's Batman, dude. Yeah, and again, with the whole like you're connected to this. Like, is his family connection tied to the corruption in Gotham? Does he have to struggle with that too? Man, I'm so hyped.
It's so good, man. And yeah, and then it just gets to that beautiful 2021 reveal with the question marks, which took me a second. I was like, what? Oh.
Yeah. And it's so funny. This is what?
It's crazy. Like the last thing you see, it's like it's not just like coming soon. It's currently in production. Like
Which is like we hardly ever see that.
right, 25% of the way filmed. That's it.
Crazy. But it's funny. This was supposed to come out in June, I think, but now it's coming out in October, which is a perfect month for this Batman movie.
Long Halloween.
It's going to be a huge box office success. I cannot wait.
Absolutely. I mean, and to that point now, that's going to be within the same release date for Halloween Kills, right?
I think same month. Yeah.
Yeah, same month. Yeah, but
yeah.
which I think it still would work fine because like I don't think the Batman's supposed to be a scary movie, so the alternative marketing's fine. But also, you want to get a new sense of Batman, and in such an element of fall and this type of tone of story, it's such a perfect setting.
Yeah, Batman's October 1st. 2 weeks later, on October 15th, is Halloween Kills.
Oh, that'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Totally fine. Yeah, I think this is going to break $100 million opening weekend.
Oh, it has to, man. I think they're going to get even more sold on trailer. I think probably, even though this was a teaser, the fact that they're still so only a quarter of the way finished filming, I think you might get 2 more trailers. That'll be it.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it's so fascinating because over a year we got our first trailer, which is a pretty extensive trailer too. So I think the next time we see a trailer, early next year, which is probably like in the March springtime, and then
it would be a good WB release to do that. Godzilla versus Kong.
Godzilla versus Kong, yeah.
Honestly, probably be good. But
what else is coming out? Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong seems like a very likely scenario.
Dune, that's too late, unless it moves.
We could see this trailer in front of Dune. Dude, I just want to see this trailer in front of
probably
movie.
will.
I need to see this trailer on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I guarantee this trailer will be in front of Wonder Woman.
Yes,
I think it's definitely going to be in front of Tenet this week because why wouldn't it? They're both WB. It makes sense. So yeah, dude, I'm super amped. Fandome was great. I think it was a great time, and I hope other studios like Star Wars can take insight from this, and Marvel if we're still stuck indoors.
Yeah,
but also it's a great unveiling. Like I know it was cool that they like back in 2015 or 14 when Marvel announced their Phase 2 slate. That was cool, but it was also like all bootleg cameras from fans. Even though they were allowed to film, it was all like secondhand. Like if they actually professionally stream that, like they do something at Comic-Con or like they did here with Fandome, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. Like I think Star Wars Celebration could do this. So granted, like you could tell a lot of this stuff was green screen. They did this like from their own different areas. You could tell they weren't really responding to each other. But hey, it didn't look bad at all. It looked really good. People came for the content, and the content delivered.
And it was great that you had the semblance of like panel scheduling. Like
fan questioning, panels, stuff like that. Great source. Granted, I didn't like how it was all like on the internet. I just put it on YouTube.
Yeah, it should have been like straight YouTube feed. That's the most accessible.
Yeah,
And
but
also,
overall
yeah,
successful.
it was great. They got to even like showcase a lot of like fan cosplays and designs and stuff, tattoos, like all that stuff. It was great.
I love that. Yeah.
It
I
was a
can
really
totally
good-
envision this with Star Wars. I just can. Like, I can see this happening. Like, hey, at
Yeah.
10 o'clock, you have the new upcoming Star Wars films. At 9 o'clock, you get The Mandalorian or something like that. So,
Yeah,
come on.
and it like it's called Fandome, and you really get the fan sense in it, like during the whole thing. But yeah, it was so fun. The Batman's going to be phenomenal. I think a lot of the projects are going to be aces. I think we're finally hitting the DC stride we wanted to hit back in 2013
Yeah.
when we first kicked off. And I think what's great is like we're going to be able to tell so many stories, and they can all live and function and breathe, whether they want to be connected to stories or do their own thing.
Agreed. Yeah.
Which is so great. And I think that's a good place to stop. 2 hours, 24 minutes. My God, that is the runtime. With that being said, had such a fun time. I think we almost already got the outro going anyway when Carson was taken off. Yeah, it was a fun time. But with that being said, Evan, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9, talking all things Batman DC fandom over the weekend, but usually talking all things video games, Big Brother. I'm a huge fan of that right now. Most of my tweets are about the live feeds on Big Brother. But yeah, I'm also a big movie guy, so I'll be seeing New Mutants this weekend, so we can talk about that on the next My Cup of Tea episode.
Yeah, and I'll likely be probably trying to catch a screening of New Mutants before I catch 10. I'll probably do a double feature. Could be fun. But I'm actually still waiting for the opening weekend to progress further. I think my theater's waiting to put up new times, or maybe they already have. I don't know. But you know, the ever-changing landscape of cinema continues, and we'll be right here along with it, trying to make sense. So, with that being said, yeah, it was such a fun time. I was doing an semblance of a lot of the DC content that dropped. React to a couple things, specifically, namely Wonder Woman, Snyder Cut, and the Batman trailers, and those are all up if you want to check those out. Also made some Batman edits, which, if that piques your intrigue, I put a couple scenes of the Joker in the Batman trailer, and I've also recut.
You did a black and white one, right?
I did, yes. Black.
I loved it. Yeah.
Did a Batman noir black and white style, which was not as simple as just putting a black and white filter on it. I think I've heard the same thing spoken from James Mangold when he was talking about doing it for Logan Noir, where you have to actually like manipulate each shot individually, which I did have to do. And I think it looks all the better for it because I was taking the effects off and on for the black and white, and it's no pun intended day and night. But it's fun, man, and we're gonna be doing more Fandome stuff in a couple weeks now when their part 2 happens, which I think it's probably going to be TV based. But if they wanted to, but they also had TV stuff today, so if they wanted to drop other film related things, they could. You know, we'll see what happens. We are going to be closer to Wonder Woman, so they could have anything happen. It'll be fun. So with that being said, if you did enjoy this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe if not already. And that being said, hope you have a great day, and may the force be with you always.